Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. Get the power of duel systems at the beginning. Chapter 1. In the afternoon, Ryosuke naturally practiced the 8 gates of Dunjia at home. Because opening a door has no power and will not damage the appliances in the home. As for no one to take care of him, he was already familiar with the pain. He might just faint and it wouldn't be a serious problem. Ryosuke said excitedly when he started training the 8 gates of Dunjin Jutsu. I'm no longer a human being. He was trying to encourage himself not to care about the so-called human pain. Then it is time to start the practice of 8-gate Dunjia. Refining chakra and breaking through the door on the right side of his mind, the familiar pain hit him again, and he gritted his teeth to hold it back. Continue to refine chakra and rush through the door. The amount of chakra this time is larger, and the door is opened a little more than yesterday. Then stop chakra refining and rest for a while, remember not to rush it. Next repeat the previous operations. After a while, cold sweat broke out on his forehead, but he endured the pain without fainting, which already meant that he had succeeded. At least I'm used to the pain of opening the door. He cheered himself up secretly in his heart. Make persistent efforts. Indeed, as Kai said, after getting familiar with this kind of pain, you can adapt to this kind of pain and finally overcome the pain. Ryosuke practiced for several hours, most of which was spent getting used to the pain. At the same time, he also reached his limit. Fortunately, he successfully pushed the door open through a large gap this time. He was overjoyed and believed that he would be able to successfully open the door soon. The training time today was longer than yesterday, and it was very hard, so he did not go to meet Yuri Hong. Although he didn't show up. But Hong won't wait forever. Because I have already told the other party that if he does not show up in 10 minutes, it means he has other important things to do. Simply wash, eat and sleep, and then wait for the arrival of the second day. Lying on the bed, he fell asleep quickly. On the 4th day of the battle with Uchiha Inari, Ryosuke got up early and felt that the pain from yesterday's 8-gate armor training was gone again. I have to lament that my body is too strong. The pain of practicing 8-door Dunjia disappeared immediately. It once again raised his confidence in practicing 8-gate Dunjia. He could recover no matter how painful it was, so why be afraid of pain? Before practicing the 8-door dungeon, you also need to improve your physical attributes, and continue to improve your physical attributes according to the training methods of One Punch Man Saitama. The stronger your body is, the easier it will be to practice 8-door Dunjia. After completing a set of training, Ryosuke heard a familiar system prompt. A warm current flowed through him, and Ryosuke felt his body getting stronger and stronger. After eating at noon and taking a short lunch break, the 8-door Dunjia training began in the afternoon. I still practice at home. Sitting cross-legged on the mat, he then refined chakra, attacking the opening in his brain, trying to slowly open it. Then the pain came, but Ryosuke was used to this kind of pain and could still bear it. Such pain could not stop him from refining chakra, as he slowly increased his chakra and rushed towards the door. With a snap, the door opened fully. A vein popped out on his forehead, and his skin tone became a little darker. There was a hint of joy on his face. Everything was difficult at the beginning. In the future, he should be able to practice the 8-gate Dunjia more and more smoothly. Ryosuke only feels that his current strength and speed can be used 100%. This is about lifting brain restrictions and improving strength and speed. It's a good improvement, at least 1.5 times that of the normal state. Then he stopped refining chakra, and continued to attack the door without chakra. As Kai said, the door slowly closed. The veins on his head disappeared, and his skin color slowly returned to its original appearance. It seems that he has successfully opened the 8-gate Dunjia, and can also close it at the same time. He only opened 1 door, but now Kai has opened 5 doors. When he opened the 5th door, he didn't know how big the improvement would be. Such strength made him a little intoxicated. His physical condition is better than Kai's, and his physical attribute values are still increasing every day, which means that his body is still strengthening. He should be able to open the 5th door to catch up with Kai before the night of genocide, and even open the 6th and 7th doors. By then, it would feel easy to punch Uchiha Itachi and kick Uchiha Obito. After opening a door, he felt like he could relax tonight. Opening the door will increase his combat power by 1.5 times, which is enough to make him invincible in the competition between Uchiha Inari and even suppress his opponent. He is not a person who pursues strength 100%, so he will combine it appropriately. Let's go on a date with Hong tonight, develop the relationship, and get the rewards of the many children and many blessings system just around the corner. As night falls, in front of a wooden house on the streets of Konoha, Kurenai is waiting for Ryosuke wearing another kimono. There was a sense of expectation and uneasiness on his face. She was a little disappointed that Ryosuke didn't come yesterday. But she won't blame the other person. After all, they are not children anymore, and life cannot be all about love. After waiting for a few minutes, I saw that familiar figure slowly walking over. Suddenly my heart was filled with joy. When Ryosuke got closer, she looked at him with a bit of complaint. I thought you weren't coming today. After an hour's rest in the afternoon, Ryosuke looked very good and said with a smile. How could be? It seems that the other party is looking forward to the date more than she is. The two continued to wander along the street. Although they had walked through this street many times, Hong still felt it was very interesting. Maybe it was only after following someone you like that you would feel this way. When there were few people around, Hong took the initiative to hold Ryosuke's arm and led Ryosuke to the quiet grove. After the two previous close contacts, Kurenai was no longer shy, and instead actively sought Ryosuke's passionate kiss. Of course Ryosuke would not refuse. Under the passionate kiss, Hong's eyes were a little blurred. The other person's body was really strong, and she was almost softening in the other person's big hands. She felt that her body was really comfortable and refreshing. She was a little eager to go further, wanting to have more contact with the other person's body. The rich smell really attracted her. She is no longer a little girl, so she naturally understands that there is a final step in the relationship between a man and a woman, and that is for both parties to truly become one. Red said a little shyly. Would you like to come to my house in 3 days? My mother happens to be going out. After saying that, she blushed. If she asked Ryosuke like this, would Ryosuke understand her intention? Ryosuke felt happy when he heard Kurenai's words. Hong's mother is not at home, and the other party invites her to his home. What will happen? All of this can already be guessed. He responded with an affectionate look on his face. Red, of course. That day happened to be the competition between him and Uchiha Inari. After giving each other a good lesson, he could merge with Kurenai and have a child in the evening. In this way, he could get a trump card to deal with the Night of Genocide, which was a precious treasure chest. No matter what the reward is, it is the trump card to successfully survive the Night of Genocide. Of course, you can also completely conquer the lovely person in front of you, and completely conquer the other person's body and mind. Don't look at it now that you have physical contact with Hong. But until the relationship reaches the final stage, the other party cannot be completely regarded as his woman. Moreover, tonight's meeting with the opponent has increased chakra by 0.1 Kakashi, which is 0.1 Kakashi's chakra amount. If it completely merges with the other party, I don't know how much it can increase. When Hong saw that Liang Jia was willing, she was naturally elated. Then she greedily kept Ryosuke's body. On the 5th day of the fight with Uchiha Inari, Ryosuke trained according to the method taught by One Punch Man Saitama teacher in the morning to improve his physical attributes. In the afternoon, I found Kai's side. Of course, I learned the training of the second gate of the 8 gates Dunjia to further improve my strength. Ryosuke found Kai easily because he was in those familiar places. Kai saw Ryosuke's arrival with a smile on his face. With his diligent and hard-working character, he taught him the practice method of opening the 8-door Dunjia. He was probably practicing alone. Can't help but ask, Ryosuke, how's your training going? Even if you don't succeed, there's no need to worry. There is no need to rush into the cultivation of the first of the 8 gates of Dunjia. Judging from the situation with him, he knew that Ryosuke was an impatient person, otherwise he would not have invented a taijutsu training method that made him stronger after being beaten. This kind of cultivation method can be said to be masochistic. Only those who crave power can invent such a physical training method. But even if Ryosuke trains hard, it is not easy to open the first of the 8 gates of Dunjia. I think it took him 2 years to open the door. Ryosuke said with a smile. Yesterday I opened the first gate of the 8 gates of Dunjia. Now I am looking for you to learn the second gate. Kai didn't expect that the other party would give such an answer. It took him 2 years, but the other party only spent 3 days. This gap was a bit big. It is simply more difficult than myself. When I started to practice the first gate of 8 gates Dunjia, I was afraid of pain, and then I exercised, improved my physical fitness, and finally withstood the pain before I successfully opened it. Perhaps the opponent's current physique is much stronger than his then, so it is so easy to successfully open the door. But the pain will not be alleviated much. Not being afraid of pain is the cultivation method of 8-gate Dunjia and the method of practicing physical skills. This kind of pain is not something ordinary people can bear, so the 8-gate Dunjia technique has not been promoted. In fact, promotion is useless, because not many people can bear that kind of pain. He can't help but admire the other party. Ryosuke, it seems that you are really suitable for practicing taijutsu. But after you open the door, you don't have to rush to the next step of 8-door Dunjia training. It is more appropriate to start the next step of training after you have a solid foundation. Ryosuke heard what the other party said and felt it made sense. After successfully opening the 8-gate Dunjia, I don't know how long he can hold on. If you want to persist for a long time, you have to be skilled. After being overjoyed with the successful opening yesterday, he relaxed and went to meet Hong in the evening after rest. Of course, this is not a loss, at least it increases the amount of chakra. The amount of chakra is naturally related to the durability of the 8-gate Dunjia and the subsequent opening of the door. In the original plot, Shaoli only opened the 6 gates in the final ending. This may be related to the opponent's smaller amount of chakra. Without a large amount of chakra, it is impossible to open the 7 or 8 gates behind it. Then he followed Kai's instructions to get familiar with the first door first, and then proceed to the next step of practice after becoming proficient. Refining the chakra and impacting the door opened in response. This was already the second time. I couldn't say that I was skilled, but I didn't feel much difficulty. The veins on his forehead popped out and his skin darkened, indicating that he had opened a door. The aura emanating from his body suddenly increased sharply. Guy saw how easily Ryosuke opened the door. Although I had already learned that Ryosuke had been able to open the door, I was still shocked. The next step is to see how long the other party can hold on. More than 10 minutes passed, and Ryosuke still kept the 8-gate Dunjia door open without any discomfort on his face. Metkai was shocked again. When he opened the first door, it only lasted for a minute. After that, his body could not bear the huge burden of opening the door, and the door closed automatically. After all, his chakra was at that time. The quantity was not as large as it is now. Half an hour later, Ryosuke was still able to open the door, but his face looked troubled. Even this was enough to shock Metkai. Ryosuke is indeed a genius in physical arts, and is more suitable to learn the art of 8-gate dungeon than himself. It takes 3 days to open the 8-gate Dunjia for more than half an hour, which is enough to show that the opponent is almost proficient in this technique. Of course, this is also related to the opponent's physical fitness. He spoke. Ryosuke, stop, I'm going to teach you the second door. The opponent's performance undoubtedly conquered him. Since the other person wants to learn the second skill, he will teach this close friend. Ryosuke immediately stopped refining chakra, opened the door and closed automatically, and his expression returned to normal. At this moment, he felt a sense of weakness in his body. This was the sense of weakness brought about by opening the 8-door Dunjia. But as his body becomes stronger and stronger, he should no longer be afraid of the weakness of this kind of physical skills. As long as the total activation time is long enough, he can just pay attention to the time, so that the body will not enter a period of weakness, and naturally there will be no defects or the like. Next, Kai introduced to Ryosuke how to open the second gate, which was also the same as the previous chakra breaking through the closed gate. The gate of Shoi is also located in the brain, but it is located on the right side of the brain, while the gate of Shoi is located on the left side of the brain. After opening the armor of Examen, 2 veins appeared on his face, and his skin color became darker than when he opened the first door. Kai introduced the function of opening the door. Door repair is to relieve the restrictions of physical fatigue, oversqueeze the body's energy to restore physical strength, and offset the fatigue caused by the energy consumption rate of opening the door. Ryosuke opened his sharingan and saw clearly the direction of Kai's chakra flow and the location of Shumen. After practicing for a period of time, after the body recovers. Based on his previous experience, Ryosuke slowly refined chakra bit by bit to impact Shumen. This way you won't faint all of a sudden. But with the impact of chakra, the door became bigger and bigger little by little, and the pain swept over like a tide, even more painful than the previous opening. With the painful experience before, I didn't faint from the pain. He gritted his teeth and continued to persevere, refining the chakra in his body and continuing to attack Examen. It is more difficult and painful to open the door of rest. Faced with such pain, Ryosuke naturally gritted his teeth and persisted. 1 hour of exercise left my head covered with sweat. Kai couldn't help but feel his scalp numb when he saw Ryosuke practicing so desperately. Is this how the other party originally trained? There is no worry that opening the door will break your brain. To be honest, even if Kai could endure hardship, he would not dare to exercise like this, he said persuadingly. Ryosuke, don't be reckless. He was really afraid that exercising like this would cause irreparable injuries to his body. Ryosuke understood Kai's kindness towards him, but he still said persistently. It's okay, my body can handle it. It is indeed bearable. No matter how severe the pain is now, his body will be completely repaired after a night's rest. Kai couldn't help but be moved when he heard this. The other party's determination was beyond his imagination. Although he was still very worried, he could only let the other party go. Maybe just like Ryosuke said, his body can handle it. Even if he couldn't bear it anymore, he could take Ryosuke to Konoha Hospital in time by watching over him, which should be able to prevent him from suffering irreparable injuries. Throughout the afternoon, Ryosuke practiced opening the door. Kai stood guard, watching Ryosuke train so hard. He had forgotten to do his own training. In the end, Ryosuke became dizzy from training and fell to the ground. Kai asked with concern, Ryosuke, do you want me to take you back? He was really worried about the other party's current state. Wouldn't it be dangerous if he fainted on the road? At this time, Ryosuke stopped training and fell to the ground. I feel that the pain is gradually fading away, and although my mind is still a little dazed, I should be able to regain consciousness after resting for a while. He waved his hand and said, I'll rest for a while. I can go back alone later. Seeing this, Kai could only do this. After waiting for a while, Ryosuke's condition recovered well. When Kai saw this, he no longer worried and went back by himself. After Kai left, Ryosuke stood on the Hokage rock and looked at the blue sky. Naturally, he was in a good mood. Because he was already familiar with the pain of opening the door, although he didn't open all the doors, he opened half of them, which was a small success. I believe that it won't be long before I can fully open the door like a door and improve my strength. At this moment, the breeze was blowing, and at this moment, he felt the calmness of Konoha. I feel so uncomfortable. If only things were calm in Konoha. Unfortunately, this calmness is false. The Uchiha clan may not be able to ease their relationship with the top management of Konoha. After all, it is still very difficult for people to understand each other. So he has to become strong enough to protect the people he cares about. Although he was much better now, the pain in his body still made him give up his date with Hong tonight. After returning home, he simply washed and ate, then fell asleep. On the 6th and 7th day of the fight with Uchiha Inari, Ryosuke followed One Punch Man's training methods in the morning to improve his physical attributes. In the afternoon, he practiced the 8-gate dungeon alone at home and opened the rest gate. Of course, there was no date with Hong in the past 2 days. Because he is not a human being and is not afraid of pain in his training method. Finally, the Hyuga gate was successfully opened. According to Kai, closing the door removes the restriction of physical fatigue, oversqueezes the body's energy to restore physical strength, and offsets the fatigue caused by the energy consumption rate of opening the door. In fact, Ryosuke's physical strength is very sufficient. But opening the door will only make him last longer. Ryosuke is looking forward to tomorrow's battle with Uchiha Inari. Although the opponent was a Junin, there was no doubt that he had Junin-level taijutsu. But when he opened the first door of the 8 gates Dunjia, it was undoubtedly 1.5 times the normal combat power. After opening the Hyuga gate, the combat power will be doubled. What an improvement! This is worthy of the reputation and difficulty of training of the 8-gate Dunjia. In order to have a good fight with Uchiha Inari tomorrow, he decided to take a good rest tonight and teach the opponent a lesson tomorrow. Short-sighted, he actually thought that he had lost the face of the Uchiha clan by training with Metkai. At the same time, there is no need to rush to meet Hong today, because there will be plenty of time to have a tryst with Hong tomorrow, and tomorrow is the day to get together. The next morning, Ryosuke came to the grove next to the tribe to train early as usual, waiting for Uchiha Inari to come and be tortured. Originally, he was just a junior chunin more than a month ago, but now he feels that his taijutsu has reached the junin level. Metkai is also a jonin level taijutsu, but not as powerful as he was at his peak. Maybe he came too early, and after waiting for a while, he didn't see any trace of Uchiha Inari, so he simply did a day of physical training to improve his attribute values. Not long after, Uchiha Inari came over with several Uchiha clan members as promised. Several people saw Ryosuke still exercising, but they didn't take it seriously. The opponent is just a chunin. Even if he trains with Metkai and practices taijutsu, his body is just stronger. How can he be able to compare with him and the others? They are the elite of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Inari stood out from among the people and said with a smile on his face, "Are you ready? I will make you convinced that you lose." The other Uchiha clan members also looked arrogant, not taking this duel seriously at all, and followed them, just to watch a good show. After all, what can they gain by practicing physical skills like Kai? If the other party hadn't been the grandson of the great elder, he would have been taught a lesson long ago, but now Daohuo can teach the other party a lesson in an open and honest manner through sparring. Ryosuke looked at Inahuo and couldn't help but want to teach him a lesson. He stretched out his hand and waved to the other party. "Bring it on." At the same time, he slowly opened the second Magatama Sharingan, and 2 Magatama appeared in his pupils. He has become accustomed to the Sharingan combined with taijutsu, which can greatly improve his actual combat ability. Uchiha Inari saw a look of surprise on his face when he saw that Ryosuke's Sharingan was a second Magatama. Ryosuke seems to have had the first Magatama Sharingan before. When did he activate the second Magatama Sharingan? Although it is a bit surprising, it is only a second Magatama, because he has a third Magatama Sharingan. He said with disdain, "The second Magatama Sharingan is really too low." The clan members behind him all had the 3 Magatama Sharingan activated, and they were all elites in the clan. There is still a big difference in pupil power between the second Magatama and the third Magatama Sharingan. The power of the Uchiha clan's Sharingan to activate Genjutsu is related to the pupil power. The stronger the pupil power, the stronger the Genjutsu. Ryosuke looked at the other party's disdainful expression, and before he could refute, the system's voice came from his mind. "Your Sharingan was despised by the other party, and you cultivated it to the 3 Magatama state in anger." At the same time, a Magatama appeared in his pupils again. "Instantly I felt that my Sharingan became more powerful." Ryosuke had a teasing look on his face. "Now my eyes are also 3 Magatama blood chakra eyes." The other party's ridicule already made him quite unhappy, but he didn't expect that the other party's contempt would have such a harvest. After opening the 3 Magatama Sharingan, the next step should be the Mangekyo Sharingan. He really wanted the other party to continue laughing at him. Maybe that would directly evolve into the Mangekyo Sharingan. The Mangekyo Sharingan is the eye of the real Uchiha clan, because both eyes have special eye skills. Just like Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan, his left eye is Tsukuyomi and his right eye is Amaterasu. Uchiha Inari, who was originally extremely arrogant, became surprised. A clansman who has not opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan may have the strength of a Junin, but a clansman who has opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan must have the strength of a Junin. The 3 Magatama Sharingan is so perverted. Even clan members whose taijutsu does not reach the Jonin level can still make up for their deficiencies in taijutsu with the ability of the 3 Magatama Sharingan. It was really unbelievable that Ryosuke opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan so easily in front of them. The opening and upgrading of the Sharingan are accompanied by strong emotions of sadness. There was no sadness on Ryosuke's face now, instead he looked excited. Moreover, to activate the 3 Magatama Sharingan, one must have superior talent and extremely determined ninja. The Uchiha clan members present except Ryosuke all have sad pasts, superior talents, and strong beliefs in revitalizing the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Inari couldn't understand. However, Uchiha Inari was even more unhappy with Ryosuke's behavior. He asked aloud, "With the 3 Magatama Sharingan, there are many ways to improve your strength. Why should you practice taijutsu with someone like Metkai and do something that will embarrass the family?" Ryosuke dismissed Uchiha Inari's words and asked in return, "Is the 3 Magatama Sharingan very strong? If he was strong, he wouldn't have been wiped out by the 2 Kaleidoscope 25 boys. He doesn't feel anything particularly strange now. It's just that his observation ability is stronger and his pupils are stronger. That's it. There is no particularly obvious qualitative change. Only by reaching the Mangekyo Sharingan can you achieve a qualitative change. With a heaven-defying pupil technique in each eye, you can become a truly strong person. Stop talking nonsense and come on." Ryosuke stretched out his hands in a fighting stance. Uchiha Inari got a little angry when he heard Ryosuke's words. The other party actually thought that the 3 Magatama Sharingan was nothing remarkable. You must know that the 3 Magatama Sharingan is the glory of the family. It is very necessary for him to teach Ryosuke a lesson and let him understand the power of the 3 Magatama Sharingan. Although Ryosuke also opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan, he opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan much earlier than Ryosuke, and he has already been able to use these eyes skillfully. From the looks of it, Ryosuke is just using the Sharingan as an observation eye to assist in taijutsu. This is simply a waste of resources, and the power of the Sharingan is not just that. First of all, defeat the opponent openly and honestly using the physical skills that the opponent is proud of. Uchiha Inari's eyes narrowed, his eyes turned red, and 3 Magatama appeared in his pupils. He also took a stance and rushed towards Ryosuke. Plans to defeat Ryosuke using Uchiha clan taijutsu. Ryosuke excitedly faced Uchiha Inari. "I didn't use the 8-gate armor technique right from the beginning. I wouldn't use it until there was a crisis or important moment. At the same time, I also wanted to see how my combat power was under normal conditions." The two sides fought for more than 10 minutes and ended up in a draw. The more the battle, Uchiha Inari became more and more surprised at the strength of the opponent's taijutsu. He was not at the Chunin level at all, but had undoubtedly reached the Junin level. He didn't hold back at all and attacked with all his strength. He didn't expect that the other party could actually withstand it. The other party is hiding his strength. The Uchiha clan members watching the battle looked very surprised. Uchiha Ryosuke's ability to fight back and forth with Anahi was beyond their expectations. It seemed that Anahi would not be able to defeat the opponent so easily with physical skills. Inari, who is in the battle, understands this best. Although Ryosuke does not use the taijutsu of the Uchiha clan, it is undoubtedly very practical. Since he couldn't defeat Ryosuke in physical skills, he had to use ninjutsu. Looking for an opportunity, he stepped back to widen the distance from Ryosuke, and then formed a seal with his hands. Si Wei Shen Hai Wu Yin. At the same time, he refined chakra and exhaled deeply from his chest. Directly spit out a blazing fireball. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. Several Uchiha tribesmen who were watching were a little shocked. ANBU must have been too impulsive. It would be a bit too harsh to deal with the tribesmen who actually used it to create such a big fireball. If such a blow hits Ryosuke, it will cause serious injury to the opponent. Then how do they explain it to the Great Elder? Ryosuke was naturally speechless after seeing these people's reactions. You all look surprised. What are you going to do? The powerful fireball cannot hit anyone, so naturally it cannot kill anyone. Then he kicked off his legs and quickly left his original position, avoiding the attack of Hao's fireball. The blazing fireball passed by him and then hit the ground behind him. It exploded suddenly with astonishing power. Even the soil was blown up all over the sky, but it did not cause any damage to Ryosuke. Instead, Ryosuke took advantage of the gap after the opponent released the high fireball and rushed towards Uchiha Inari, trying to catch the opponent off guard. Contrary to his expectations, ANBU didn't react and was sent flying by Ryosuke's punch. No match for Ryosuke at all. Ryosuke suddenly felt a little weird. In terms of physical skills, the two of them should be equally matched. It is impossible for the other party to be knocked away by him just by looking at each other. The Uchiha rice fire that flew backwards disappeared with a bang, turning into white mist and disappearing. Ryosuke was immediately shocked. It's actually a clone technique. At the same time, he immediately increased his vigilance and sensed a figure coming from behind. It was Uchiha Inari who appeared from behind Ryosuke, with a hint of pride on his face at this moment. When he released the Go Fireball technique before, he directly used the clone technique with the help of the Go Fireball's cover, while the main body had long been looking for opportunities to hide and attack Ryosuke. When Ryosuke struggled to attack his clone, he also took advantage of the gap between Ryosuke's attacks to launch the attack. As long as he kicks it, the competition will be over. He only uses his feet now, but in actual combat, he will definitely use a knife. The opponent must have been too late to turn around and block his attack. He won this battle. Ryosuke knew the current tricky situation. It seemed that he still had too little combat experience, and he actually fell into the opponent's tactic of using clones to lure the enemy. With his current speed, he really can't react, so he can only activate the 8 armor escape techniques. Ryosuke instantly refined his chakra and opened the first of the 8 gates of armor in one fell swoop. A vein bulged on his forehead and his skin darkened. Then he turned around, and just when the opponent's leg was about to kick him, he raised his foot to meet him. Block the opponent's sure-win attack. After blocking the blow, he secretly felt grateful. Everyone in the ninja world has a heart. He initially held a simple idea, whoever is stronger and faster can win, but now it is different. There are many tactics in the ninja world. If he hadn't practiced 8 gates release, Ryosuke would have been deceived by the opponent's little tactics, and would have been humiliated by the opponent later. Of course, he couldn't accept that practicing physical skills with a guy like Metkai would bring shame to the family. Because if you want to save your family, you must learn the 8 gates of Dunjia. Only then can you save your family. Saving your family is also saving yourself. Thinking of this, he angrily continued to open the second door of the 8 Dunjia, Examen. A second vein popped up on his forehead, and his skin tone became darker. Although it still caused severe pain when it was turned on, he didn't care at all now. I just feel that I am stronger now. I increase the strength of my legs and attack the rice fire. Now Uchiha Inari was shocked. The opponent actually blocked his winning blow. How could this be possible? This is simply unbelievable. The opponent's speed surged a lot in an instant, and he even felt that his strength surged a lot, making it a bit difficult to withstand. He was immediately kicked away by Ryosuke. He fell heavily to the ground, with a look of disbelief on his face. Could it be that the two sides just had a 50-50 physical battle and the other side was hiding his strength? But it doesn't look like Ryosuke's sudden burst of powerful momentum was probably due to some kind of secret technique. Such a technique has never been heard of in his family. Although he took Ryosuke's blow and was slightly injured, he was unwilling to admit that he was inferior to the opponent. He got up from the ground and continued to rush towards Ryosuke, while the sharingan watched the opponent's movements with all his strength. But this comparison shocked him because Ryosuke's speed and strength were greatly enhanced. For a moment, he could only block it in a hurry. It was extremely strenuous, and every blow from the opponent was powerful and heavy. It's unbelievable that the opponent's physical skills have improved so much. He was very puzzled. What on earth is going on? At this moment, Ryosuke saw that the opponent was so tenacious and could still stop him. He used the Konoha whirlwind to kick towards the opponent. Uchiha Inari knew that he could not completely withstand the opponent's amazing kick, but he had to stretch out his legs to meet it. Otherwise, if you take advantage of the opponent's move, the competition will be over. Sure enough, as he expected, even if he resisted the opponent's attack, he was the one who retreated from the competition. But he was lucky to have blocked this blow. If this blow had hit his body, he would have lost immediately. He would have lost even if he couldn't use the power of the sharingan. That would make him very unwilling. But unexpectedly, Ryosuke actually used his hands to become emperor, and used his left leg again to perform a heel kick. Although Anabe's eyes had seen it, he had no time to stop him. He was accidentally kicked by Ryosuke's back heel, and his figure immediately flew out. It fell heavily to the ground. This scene made the elites of the Uchiha clan change their expressions. Did Ryosuke actually beat Uchiha Inari? One of the Uchiha clan members exclaimed. Such physical skills are quite exquisite. The two-step kick, most people would never expect such continuous attack moves. Even if they suddenly respond to this move, if they don't know the opponent's move, they will definitely be attacked. Uchiha Ryosuke did not take advantage of the victory to pursue Inari, who fell on the ground. After all, this was not a life-and-death battle. But he said calmly, "Is this the end? In that case, don't bother me anymore." Inari, who had fallen on the ground, slowly got up and looked at Ryosuke with a somewhat complicated look. At this moment, he realized something. Did Ryosuke really achieve success in taijutsu by following Metkai? If the other party has such strength, he will definitely not be a fool. What was that move called just now? Ryosuke Uchiha responded calmly. Konoha Whirlwind. Pipe quote. Dao Huo recalled the name. It was really like a whirlwind, which made people have to stop it. However, he did not expect that there was a second kick as a backup move. It was indeed very superb. Did you create this physical technique yourself? Ryosuke shook his head and said, I learned this technique from Metkai. He not only learned the opponent's physical skills, but also the opponent's fighting consciousness. At this moment, Uchiha Inari was completely convinced. The opponent defeated him with Metkai's physical skills. He no longer had any reason to stop the opponent from practicing physical skills with Metkai. Uchiha admires the strong. If the opponent's physical skills are strong enough to defeat him, then he has no reason to express his disdain. Now it was his turn to show his arrogance. Although he admitted that he was not as good as his opponent in physical skills, illusions were his specialty. His three Magatama Sharingan stared at Ryosuke Uchiha, his eyes becoming scarlet and glowing faintly. Ryosuke suddenly felt dizzy. He instantly understood that the other party was using an illusion, and only illusions could disturb his spirit. At the same time, he also concentrated on resisting the opponent's illusion with all his strength. While he was concentrating his energy to deal with the opponent's illusion, the voice of the system came from his mind. Your Sharingan is so angry that some unscrupulous people dare to harm him. Practice your Sharingan quickly and your eye power will be greatly enhanced. Ryosuke suddenly felt a warm current flowing into his Sharingan, and the spinning sensation stopped, and his mind became empty for a while. He understood that his eye power had become stronger and he could resist the opponent's illusion. He couldn't help but sigh, his Sharingan was too unique. But he still pretended to be under the opponent's illusion, his eyes were dull, and he stood there blankly. Several Uchiha tribesmen who were watching breathed a sigh of relief. They all thought that Inari was going to lose this battle, but they didn't expect that he got up again and used genjutsu to defeat Ryosuke's powerful taijutsu. It seems that Sharingan is still more powerful than taijutsu and is more worth practicing. At this time, Anabe's face also regained its previous arrogance, and he came to Uchiha Ryosuke with a smile on his face. It seems that practicing Sharingan is the right choice. Do you really think so? The sound came from the mouth of the dull Uchiha Ryosuke. Dao Huo was immediately shocked and froze where he was because he didn't believe that he failed to activate the illusion. He was then punched away by Ryosuke. Of course, Ryosuke's punch did not use all his strength, it was just a light punch to teach the opponent a lesson. After all, they are members of the same clan, so there is no need to be cruel. Even the Uchiha clan members who were watching were shocked. Ryosuke didn't fall into Inari's genjutsu, so there was only one explanation. The pupil power of the Uchiha Sharingan determines the power of illusion, which means that Ryoko's pupil power is higher than that of Inaka, but how is this possible? Ryosuke has clearly just awakened the three Magatama Sharingan, and Anabe's three Magatama Sharingan has been activated for at least a year or two. At this time, Inahuo, who was lying on the ground, got up. He knew that the other party had kept his hand and it only made him feel pain. But what made him even more irritated was that he actually lost to a person who had just opened the three Magatama Sharingan. This is almost like a dream, he asked with puzzled eyes. How could you not fall under the illusion spell? This is impossible. Your eye power cannot be higher than mine. Ryosuke asked rhetorically. Who said my eye power isn't better than yours? Anabe was a little speechless and carefully observed Ryosuke's Sharingan. But he found that the other person's eyes were scarleter than his own Sharingan, with an ominous red light. Very surprised, Ryosuke is an absolute genius. The three Magatama Sharingan was even more powerful than his own just after awakening. It was simply too terrifying. Could it be that the other party's talent was revealed at this time? It is true that some people's talents are not very apparent at the beginning, but they accumulate more and more talents when they are young and middle-aged. Maybe this is the case. After figuring this out, Anahu no longer felt sad for his failure, but felt grateful, because now the relationship between the Uchiha clan and the top management of Konoha was getting worse and worse, and he didn't think the two could understand each other. The current high-level officials of Konoha are increasingly squeezing out the Uchiha clan, and even the Uchiha clan's clan has been forced to relocate. He even accused the Uchiha clan of launching the Nine Tails Rebellion out of thin air. Let the villagers make unreasonable guesses. As an elite jonin in the family, Inari didn't know who in the family had the ability to control the Kyuubi. Even he didn't know, so how could it be done by someone in the family? The worst situation is that the two top geniuses in the family, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, one of whom is the son of the patriarch of the family, have joined the Hokage's ANBU. This is not helping. Do you want outsiders to beat your own people? These two people are so chilling to the people. Fortunately, another genius has appeared in the family. Ryosuke is so strong now. If he learns the family sharingan genjutsu and has stronger eye power than himself, he will undoubtedly be a genius comparable to Uchiha Shisui. Inari now has the urge to win over Ryosuke and draw him into the radical faction. Because he understood that it was useless for moderates to advocate peaceful dialogue with the village. He could sense the deep disgust that Konoha's higher-ups had for the Uchiha clan. Clan leader Uchiha Fugaku chose to retreat time and time again when faced with the pressure from Konoha's top brass. This will only make Konoha's top management more aggressive. By drawing Ryosuke into the radical faction, he could even win over the Great Elder. Such a surge in the power of the radical faction could even lead to the clan leader Uchiha Fugaku changing family policies and refusing to give in the face of Konoha's pressure at all levels. Confront them and restore the prestige of the Uchiha clan. The leader of their radical faction is the 8th generation elder of the clan, Uchiha. Before that, we have to report it to Yashiro Uchiha. Of course Ryosuke doesn't know what Inari is thinking right now, and he still has training to complete. He didn't want these people to stand in his way. Please leave me. Don't hinder me in the future, and don't think that Metkai is an ordinary chunin. Regarding his performance just now, naturally no one dared to persuade him again. The opponent's physical skills were quite weak a month ago, and it was impossible to compete with Junin like them, but now it was beyond their expectations. Instead, they couldn't compete with Ryosuke. The Uchiha clan respects the strong, so they naturally cannot embarrass Ryosuke. Ryosuke did not bring shame to the family at all, but instead improved his own strength. Now they even think that there must be something special about Metkai being recognized by Ryosuke. After they left, Ryosuke continued his previous training and was not overly happy that he had taught these Uchiha tribesmen a lesson by opening the 8-gate dungeon. After all, his enemies were not these tribesmen, but the two young men and the so-called high-level officials of Konoha. You still have to improve your strength properly to be the right way. After practicing according to One Punch Man Saitama's teacher's methods, he successfully improved his physical attributes. Ryosuke took a quick bath at noon, ate and slept. After waking up, he walked to Hong's house. Hong didn't expect that Ryosuke would come in the afternoon. She thought he would come in the evening, so she just kept him here overnight. However, this was an unexpected surprise to her, so she wasn't disgusted. Ryosuke was naturally not in a hurry when he came here, but just went shopping and had a good meal with Kurenai. When night fell, the two returned to Hong's house. Of course, Hong's mother is not at home. At this time, Kurenai looked at Ryosuke shyly. Wait for me, let me rinse first. Ryosuke readily agreed. With a smile on her face, Kurenai walked to the bathroom. She didn't want anything dirty on her body to make Ryosuke unhappy. After about half an hour of washing, Hong came out wearing shorts and a bath towel. She knew this look would attract Ryosuke the most. At this moment, her face was rosy and her body was steaming as she looked at Ryosuke. Ryosuke, I've already washed it. When Ryosuke looked at Hong's bare white and red skin, he immediately felt a strong stimulation. The round balls wrapped in a bath towel made him stunned. It felt delicious, but he still endured it. After all, the other party entertained me with such a white body, so naturally I had to treat him with courtesy. Couldn't help but come to Hong's side. Red, give me a towel. Let me take a good bath too. Kurenai was embarrassed enough to appear in front of Ryosuke like this. Although the two parties have had very close contact, she is now almost honest with each other. Unexpectedly, the other party could suppress his desire, and he immediately felt a sense of security. He took out an unused towel from the drawer and handed it to Ryosuke with one hand. At this time, Hong only had one hand still holding the towel on his body, so that most of the two round balls were exposed. Ryosuke couldn't help but want to play with this round ball. But he still endured his thoughts, quickly took the towel, and walked towards the bathroom, trying to rinse his whole body as quickly as possible. It took 2 minutes, but Ryosuke simply finished taking a shower. In fact, just rinse the dust off your body. He walked towards Kurenai wrapped in a towel. Kurenai was equally excited when she saw Ryosuke with his upper body exposed. His body looked so strong. Ryosuke carried Kurenai back to her boudoir and laid her gently on the bed, while also straddling the other person's body. Hong came to her boudoir, this was her territory, and felt a little at ease. Look at the man in front of you. Ryosuke, please be nice and gentle to me later. Although she was already very eager for the last step, she heard that the first time was very painful. Ryosuke smiled and nodded, then turned off the light button on the side, lifted the towel wrapped around Kurenai's upper body, and then rode up. A night without words. Until noon the next day. Honkai opened her eyes with a haggard look, but the flush on her face had not gone away. Recalling everything that happened last night, I couldn't help but enjoy it a little. It turns out that it is so comfortable to do that kind of thing with the person you like. It's a pity that after doing it 8 times, I couldn't bear it anymore and had to beg for mercy again and again. Fortunately, Ryosuke stopped conquering her, otherwise, she would have been broken. Of course Ryosuke had already woken up, but he just couldn't bear to give up the soft woman in front of him. Sure enough, men still need women to nourish them. After last night's battle, he felt more comfortable than ever before. At the same time, he also gained 0.5 calories of chakra. When I did it for the last time last night, I heard the sound of the system. He didn't expect that one night of making love could increase his calorie level by 0.5. If he did it a few more times, it would be no longer a dream to rely on the combined power of a man and a woman to obtain a huge amount of chakra, even comparable to a tailed beast. Combined with the original plot, Kakashi once said that Naruto's chakra is 4 times that of Kakashi, and if he does not suppress the 9 tails, it is 100 times that of Kakashi. Therefore, the amount of chakra of Kyuubi should be 96 times that of Kakashi. This is the amount of chakra of the Kyuubi, the most powerful among the tailed beasts. Then he doesn't need to worry about running out of chakra in the future. At the same time, opening the 8 doors Dunjia still requires the support of chakra. Ryosuke was so excited that he couldn't help but play with those balls again. I don't know if the 8 times last night made Hong pregnant. But even if you're not pregnant, it's always okay to have it a few more times. Based on his current relationship with Hong, Hong would definitely have no objection to doing more. And his physical fitness also allows him to have extremely strong energy to do this kind of thing. In the afternoon, when Inari returned to the guard building after completing his mission, he walked towards Uchiha Yashira's office with his thoughts in mind. Yashira Uchiha, who has short brown hair, is dealing with complaints from villagers in his room. At this time, he was annoyed by these things. He obviously ordered his subordinates to follow the public security regulations, but there were always some people who refused to accept it. Just like a child stealing goods from a merchant, of course the Uchiha guards arrested him and put him in jail, but his parents were very dissatisfied and even complained to him. Of course, he rejected the application directly and put the person in jail. He felt that the Uchiha guard member certainly did the right thing. If it's against the law, it's certainly against the law. Now the child's parents are joining forces with the store owner, and both parties want to appeal to him, but of course he still refuses. In his eyes, if you break the law, it's a crime. He won't let you off the hook just because of your age. Otherwise, what would happen? At the same time, only in this way can children be educated correctly. The matter was dealt with, of course, by dismissing the parents' complaint. But now another person came to his office to plead for mercy. A middle-aged man stood in front of his desk and argued. Yashira-sama, even if my father stole something, but he is so old, why don't we just let him go? He doesn't like working, he just likes to take advantage and live a relaxed life. Even when his father steals things, he asks his father to do it. Even if he is accidentally discovered by a merchant, he will not care too much because of his old age. Even if the store still wants to pursue the matter, as long as he goes to the other party to cause trouble, he will no longer pursue his father's matter. But this time, he was discovered by the guards, and his father was imprisoned for theft. This is half of his financial source. Uchiha Yashira looked at the man in front of him coldly and said seriously. If you break the law, you must be arrested. This is something that even children know. Don't you understand, as a grown-up like you? Your father committed a crime, and you, the son, are also guilty. I want to arrest you too. The face of the visitor was ugly. If the Uchiha clan knew the inside story, they might really catch him. But he still refused to give up and his money bag would be thrown into jail. He continued to argue. Yashira-sama, my father is so old. If something happens in the prison of the guard, I'm afraid it will be bad for the reputation of your guard. You also have to be responsible for my father, you might as well leave it to me and take him home. His words were secretly threatening. If something happens to the elderly, you guards will be responsible. Unexpectedly, Yashira would not accept this trick at all. If something happens to your father in prison, it has nothing to do with us, the Uchiha clan. What happened is not his old age's responsibility, but more importantly, your son's responsibility. I will never agree to this. According to Article 2 of the Public Security Regulations for the crime of theft, this old man must be detained in the guard prison for 2 weeks. If you have nothing to do, just leave. The middle-aged man could not have imagined that the Uchiha clan was really stubborn and refused to accept soft and hard advice. At the same time, he began to hate the Uchiha clan in his heart. Without the old man's theft, with his usual income, the quality of life would drop sharply. Uchiha, he was really what the other villagers said he was. A trivial matter is handled so seriously. At this time, Daohuo came to the office. I happened to bump into a middle-aged man with an unhappy face walking out of the office, and the elder Uchiha Yashira who was sitting in his seat with an unkind expression. Asked with a smile, Elder, what happened again to make you so unhappy? Yashira told what happened just now, and he was also flustered by it. These villagers always wanted to interfere with their Uchiha's law enforcement. It was really speechless. Anyone who violates the security regulations of the guard, whether you are an elderly person or a child, will be investigated and punished, and law enforcement will not be relaxed just because of your age. Daohuo agreed. I agree with what the elder did. You can't spare the other person just because of his old age. It would be terrible if the other person becomes a habitual offender. When Yashira saw his clan members, they all recognized him and felt that he had done nothing wrong. I felt a lot more comfortable. If you don't go on patrol, why did you come to me? You don't want to be lazy, do you? Keisuke said quickly. Of course that's not the case. I want to recommend an Uchiha clan member to you. If you draw him into our radical faction, he can revive our Uchiha clan. Yashira suddenly became interested. The current situation of the family in the village was not good, and he deeply felt that the higher-ups were ostracizing and disgusting them. However, the clan leader actually repeatedly compromised with the top management of Konoha, which Yashira saw in his eyes and became anxious in his heart. Only by winning over the ambitious young people in the family, putting pressure on the clan leader, and not compromising in the face of Konoha's top brass, can the Uchiha clan's glory be restored. Of course he never thought about seizing power. The clan leader is a master of the Uchiha clan. He deeply admires his opponent's strength, but he is not strong enough to stand alone, nor does he have the ability to raise the banner of the Uchiha clan. Who do you want to recommend? Uchiha Inari smiled. The grandson of the great elder, Ryosuke Uchiha. If we can recruit him, we can even get the great elder to side with us. When the time comes, we will definitely be able to successfully put pressure on the clan leader to face the top leaders of Konoha and show the courage of the Uchiha clan. When Yashira heard this name, he started to think. He didn't like this tribesman. He was a member of the guard, but he didn't work in the guard properly. He had told the Fugaku clan leader. But team leader Fugaku told him to ignore it. There is no way. Who makes the other party's grandfather be the great elder? In terms of qualifications, he ranks first. Even the clan leader had to give face to the other party, let alone him. Why do you think of him? Did he reveal his intention to resist Konoha's higher-ups and revive the Uchiha clan? The rice fire actually became quieter. I really don't know this. Of course I would invite him because Ryosuke is a genius of the Uchiha clan. Not only did he defeat me in physical skills, he even opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan. Although it has only just been opened, his eye power is stronger than mine. Quote, you also know that the only young geniuses in the family who can carry the banner are Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, but these two are both ANBU of the Hokage. It's no longer credible, and Ryosuke may be the third young man who can carry the banner. Yashiro was very surprised when he heard this. He didn't expect this kid to hide so deeply that he even turned on the 3 Magatama. He is only 16 years old, and he even defeated the 20-year-old Dao Huo. He can really be regarded as a top genius. Yashiro was also a little confused at the same time. Ryosuke had just opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan. His eye power was so strong that he was indeed a genius, but what the hell was this taijutsu? Dao Huo, why did you fail in physical skills? To be honest, taijutsu is not the mainstream in the ninja world. Inari is a few years older than Ryosuke, so there is no reason why he would lose. Inari told Yashiro the previous situation. When I was fighting with his physical skills, we were evenly matched. I used the powerful fireball technique to attack the opponent, but secretly I used the clone technique to create a clone that stayed in place, while hiding the main body. As expected, the opponent fought with my clone, and the main body took this opportunity to capture the opponent. The Yashiro who heard this couldn't help but praise Uchiha Inari's tactical talent, but at the same time they were also puzzled. With the way things are going, you shouldn't lose. Dao Huo was also puzzled. I didn't expect that I would lose. It was because Ryosuke's speed suddenly became faster and blocked my winning kick. I still remember that the veins on the other person's forehead popped out, and his skin became darker. 8th Elder, what kind of secret skill does this person have in the family? Yashiro thought about it. Although the Uchiha clan also had taijutsu, they didn't seem to have such techniques that could enhance physical abilities. There are some ninjutsu to strengthen the body in Konoha, such as the Akamichi family's doubling technique. But these are not consistent with what Inari said about Ryosuke's enhanced body speed. I don't know about this. Dao Huo felt a little disappointed. He originally thought it was a physical skill in the family and wanted to learn it to improve his strength. But then he thought about it, if there is no one in the family, then there really is no one, so why would the understanding be learned, could it be? Yashiro-sama, do you know Metkai? Ryosuke has been learning from this guy lately. Yashiro frowned when he heard the name Metkai, but he had heard of Metday's name. You are of the younger generation. You may not know this name, but this person is a true physical genius. In the Third Ninja World War, I defeated the 7 ninja swordsmen of Kurigakure village with 1 enemy. Only 3 of the 7 escaped. Dao Huo couldn't help being shocked when he heard this. If you are so strong, how come you are not famous? Yashiro said, the other party is just a genin, no one will publicize his achievements at all. Genin. When Inahuo heard this, he couldn't help but be puzzled. Among the 7 ninjas in Kurigakure village, their lowest strength was at the Junin level. One genin not only defeated the opponent, but even killed 4 of them. Couldn't help but ask, how can a genin be so strong? Yashiro said, 8 gates of armor dungeon, an ultimate physical skill. Keisuke suddenly became excited. 8 generations of elders, is there anyone in this jutsu family? Of course not. Don't think too much about this technique. The difficulty of practicing this technique is far beyond your imagination. As far as I know, no one in Konoha village knows this taijutsu now. And the side effects are huge. Opening the 8 gates will inevitably lead to death. Even the first few gates will damage the body. It is impossible to cultivate successfully without a strong body. Dao Huo was a little disappointed when he heard this. No one knew the physical skills. Originally, he wanted to try to improve his own strength. Yashiro guessed at this time. Metkai is probably a descendant of Metday. The two have the same surname, so Ryosuke must have obtained the 8-door dungeon training method from the other party. The technique Ryosuke used to suddenly increase his body speed may be the 8-gate dungeon, which shows that Ryosuke is a genius in individual techniques. Call him here, and I'll see if I can bring him into our camp. Although this technique is very dangerous, possessing this technique is undoubtedly a huge combat power. Even though there is a time limit, there is undoubtedly an overwhelming advantage during this period. Dao Huo left the office after agreeing. He walked straight towards Ryosuke's house. Ryosuke had left Kurenai's house at this moment. Because Hong's mother is coming back soon. He wanted to laugh a little at this moment, it felt like having an affair, a little exciting. When he returned home, he originally planned to take a good rest and train hard to improve his physical attributes, but he didn't expect Dao Huo to come to his home. "Why did you come to my house?" Dao Huo said with respect on his face. "Elder Yashira invites you to go to the guard." Ryosuke was thinking about this name in his mind. This guy seemed to be the leader of the radical faction of the Uchiha clan. And his grandfather and Uchiha Fugaku should be considered neutrals. He also wanted to see what the other party wanted to do with him, so he followed Dao Huo to the guard building. On the way there, Ryosuke was attracted by a yellow-haired boy wearing orange sportswear. Isn't this man Uzumaki Naruto, the son of prophecy? Seeing such a person, he couldn't help but stop. Inaho also stopped and looked in Ryosuke's direction, his expression becoming helpless. This child is the reincarnation of the demon fox, and is actually the so-called Jinchuriki. This matter has spread throughout the village, except for the children who may not know. At this time, Naruto walked into a store and wanted to buy some snacks. But when the shop owner saw the child, his expression suddenly changed. Isn't this guy the reincarnation of the demon fox? He had relatives who died in the night of the Nine Tails Rebellion. And the stores suffered heavy losses. Even if he makes money, it is impossible for him to make money from such a person. He hurriedly walked out of the counter and pushed towards Naruto with both hands until he pushed him out of the door. How could Naruto, a child now, be able to resist the power of an adult? He was decisively pushed out of the door. He asked with a very confused look on his face. "Why, boss, I also want to buy something, I have money." The boss refused with a look of disgust on his face. "If you have money, I won't do your business. Come on, don't bring any more bad luck to my store." Naruto looked a little unhappy, but there was nothing he could do, the other party wouldn't do his business. He took his money and walked to the second store. He was also kicked out and even cursed by the store owner. "You evil fox, leave my home." Ryosuke was speechless when he saw this situation. Naruto was really miserable when he was a child. Fortunately, he was the son of a hero, but he was treated like this, which made Ryosuke feel a little chilled. What are these guys at the top of Konoha doing? He simply couldn't understand it. At this time, Naruto gradually disappeared into the streets. After all the shops refused to do his business, and some even banned him from entering. Ryosuke was speechless again. It seems that these people all know the news that Naruto is a nine-tailed demon fox. I don't know who spread the word. Although there are ANBU guarding the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, they actually let the Nine Tails Jinchuriki endure such torture. I'm really not afraid that he will explode. Anabi asked, seeing Ryosuke's expression on the side. Are you a little sympathetic to this Nine Tails Jinchuriki? Ryosuke nodded, of course he sympathized. The son of a hero was actually being humiliated like this. What on earth were Konoha's higher-ups doing? Dao Huo sighed softly. He is a poor child. After all, he did not have the Nine Tails sealed voluntarily. In my eyes, he is the hero of the village. If the Uchiha clan had been able to fight during the Nine Tails Rebellion, they would have definitely been able to repel the tailed beasts, and even the fourth Hokage would not have died. Such a child may not be able to become a Jinchuriki. Let's go, the 38 generations of elders are still waiting for us. Faced with this situation, he was helpless. Ryosuke glanced at the villagers before leaving. These villagers should know that the nine-tailed demon fox is sealed in Naruto's body. But these people still took Naruto as a nine-tailed demon fox to vent their anger. But no matter how you think about it, Naruto cannot be blamed. The villagers of Konoha village are quite ignorant. Not long after, Inari brought Ryosuke to Yashira's office. Yashira motioned to Inabi to go out first. He wanted to have a good talk with Ryosuke in front of him alone. After Inahu went out, Uchiha Yashira observed the person in front of him. He was strong and accomplished in physical skills. It has changed a lot from the previous image. Ryosuke looked at the Uchiha Yashira with short brown hair, a serious face, and small eyes in front of him. Is there anything the elder has come to see me for? Before inviting the other party to join the radical faction, Yashira wanted to ask the other party about his understanding of the relationship between the family and Konoha's high-level officials. What do you think of the current relationship between the family and Konoha's top brass? Ryosuke replied according to his understanding. Today, the relationship between the high-level officials of Konoha and our Uchiha clan is very bad, but this is not the fault of our Uchiha family, but the fault of the high-level officials of Konoha. Even the family land was forcibly moved to the suburbs. This is really a shame for the family. The other party's move is not only humiliating us, but also completely excluding our Uchiha clan from the center of power. We will slowly become a marginal family. Yashira was very satisfied when he heard this. It seemed that the other party was not only a master of physical skills, but also very smart. It seems that he is still a radical. According to the current situation, Konoha can no longer accommodate the Uchiha clan, and this is the reason why Konoha's top brass are ostracizing them. If the top brass of Konoha hadn't been so ostracizing the Uchiha clan, they wouldn't have wanted to launch a coup. Yashira said with a smile. Ryosuke, you can see better than most Uchiha. The top management of Konoha wants to completely exclude us, the Uchiha clan, from the center of Konoha's power. However, Konoha was founded by our Uchiha clan and the Senju clan. We must launch a coup and regain the honor that belongs to our clan. Are you willing to join our radical faction? Liangjin did not answer the other party's question, but asked instead. Of course I want to revitalize the Uchiha clan, so what are you going to do? Yashira was very pleased with the other party's attitude. The other party was indeed from their faction. The revitalization of the family is of course considered from the direction of the family. Unlike the two Uchiha Itachis in the family, Uchiha Shisui joined the Hokage ANBU as a member of the family. We radical members plan to unite to put pressure on the clan leader, launch a coup, force the third Hokage to step down, and let a member of our Uchiha clan take the position of Hokage. What do you think? Ryosuke was still a little dissatisfied when he heard this answer. Is that all? Is it as simple as forcing the other party to step down? You must know that this is a political struggle, a life and death struggle. The other party has the idea of exterminating the Uchiha clan, and even Uchiha civilians will not be spared. The methods are so vicious and cruel. And these radical people seem to have lived a peaceful life for a long time, and they are not as ruthless as the Uchiha clan in the Warring States period. This kind of awareness alone cannot revitalize the Uchiha clan. Yashira was a little confused when he heard the other party's words. Ryosuke, don't you think it's enough for the Uchiha clan to ascend to the position of Hokage? Ryosuke's expression suddenly turned a little sinister. Of course it's not enough. We have to clear out all the high-level officials of Konoha. This way, our Uchiha clan can protect ourselves and at the same time restore the prestige of the Uchiha clan. When Yashira heard Ryosuke's words, he didn't feel excited. Instead, he felt a little cold. Ryosuke was too aggressive and even felt that the other party was a bit dangerous. With the strength of the Uchiha clan, how could it be possible to clear out all the high-level officials in Konoha? Even mobilizing all the Uchiha tribesmen to fight is impossible. Now the power and strength of the village's top leaders are extremely strong. The ANBU of Hokage is the root of Danzo who is most targeting their Uchiha clan. The Uchiha clan dare not say that they can easily deal with these two forces. Even the other families in the village would not just watch Uchiha do this. If such a plan is really implemented, the danger will not be to the top management of Konoha, but to the Uchiha clan, and they may even be in danger of annihilation. Yashira said speechlessly. Ryosuke, aren't we being too radical? As long as we seize power, we can restore the glory of our Uchiha clan. Ryosuke said coldly. Elder Yashira, don't be too naive. Do you think the higher-ups in Konoha will watch us seize power? Will they obediently hand over the power in their hands? The struggle for power is inherently bloody. If you don't want to fight to the death with the other party, then just keep your tail between your legs and be a human being. Yashiro was furious when he heard this. That's enough, stop talking. Ryosuke is really too radical and dangerous, and this is a life and death struggle with Konoha's top brass. Their radical faction just wanted to take back the power that originally belonged to Uchiha, and did not want to do such a crazy thing. You go out, we radicals have nothing to say to you. Ryosuke left Yashiro's office nonchalantly. It seems that the radical faction of the Uchiha clan has long lost the ruthlessness of their previous brutal struggles. Dao Huo, who was waiting outside the door, vaguely heard the quarrel in the office, then saw Ryosuke push the door open and leave. He hurriedly walked into the office and looked at Yashiro. The other person now looked very unhappy, even a little angry. Did Ryosuke's refusal to join their radical faction anger Yashiro? He asked a little nervously. Yashiro elder, doesn't Ryosuke want to join us? He felt a little disappointed. Why were the family elites unwilling to contribute to the family? Yashiro calmed down and said with a dissatisfied expression. This guy is so perverted. He actually wants us, the Uchiha clan, to start a full-scale war with the top management of Konoha and kill them all. This will bring the Uchiha clan into a state of destruction. Don't spread these words, otherwise, I'm afraid the top management of Konoha will immediately target our Uchiha clan. Dao Huo was a little stunned when he heard these words. Is Uchiha Ryosuke such a crazy person? It is simply impossible to start a war with the top brass of Konoha and kill them all. If the Uchiha clan did such crazy things, their reputation in the village would plummet. Even other families in the village would go to war with the Uchiha clan. He understood very well why the Yashiro elders were angry. After all, their radical faction just wanted to restore the glory of the Uchiha clan, not to bring the Uchiha clan into destruction. At this moment, Ryosuke was walking on the road back to his ancestral land. As he was walking, he inadvertently caught a glimpse of a yellow-haired child standing alone in the corner of the wall. Ryosuke slowly approached the other party. Naruto noticed something and looked up at the adult wearing a high-collared robe who was approaching him. I was still wary at first. But the stranger's face did not have that expression of indifference and hatred towards him, but instead had a peaceful expression. Naruto couldn't help but ask, "Uncle, are you a ninja?" Ryosuke didn't expect Naruto to take the initiative to talk to him, but the other person's name was a bit wrong. He was only 16 years old. Stop calling me uncle, call me Ryosuke ni. I am indeed a ninja. Naruto's eyes widened in disbelief. Apart from that grandfather, this was the second person he met who was kind to him. Seeing Ryosuke's attitude, Naruto felt happy and wiped away the previous unhappiness. Ryosuke ni, I also want to become a powerful ninja in the future. Ryosuke said with a smile. Of course you can. In the original plot, Naruto really became the 7th Hokage. Naruto was also confused at this moment. Ryosuke ni, don't you hate me? Ryosuke was stunned for a moment. It seemed that Naruto was so disgusted that he was a little bit embarrassed. Why should I hate you? Naruto is respectable for not turning evil in such an environment. If he were to treat him like this, these high-level officials of Konoha and the villagers would definitely not protect these people, not to mention betraying and killing them. Because they don't deserve it. Naruto wondered again. Many people in the village hate me. They all call me Demon Fox. Do you know what's going on? But no matter how he looked in the mirror, he found that he was a human being and did not have the organs of a fox. Ryosuke said with a smile. What a demon fox. If someone calls you a demon fox, it proves that that person is a fool. Naruto became even more confused. What do you mean, idiot? Ryosuke said patiently. After all, the other person is still a child. It's people who have no brains, or people whose brains are broken. Naruto nodded. He somewhat understood what the other party meant. It turned out that those who scolded him were people who had no brains or whose brains were broken. He still wanted to believe this Ryosuke brother whom he met for the first time. Ryosuke said, thinking of the previous situation when he entered a store to buy something but was kicked out. I'll treat you to ramen, okay. He admired the 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato very much. Naruto was his child and he didn't want his childhood to be so miserable. Naruto asked confused, Ryosuke ni, what is ramen? Is it delicious? Ryosuke thought about the taste of ramen and said in admiration. Very tasty food. Naruto felt a little yearning after hearing this and said hesitantly again. But I only have 10 taels left, so I don't know if it's enough to eat. This was given to him by his grandfather. Ryosuke frowned after hearing this. Just 10 taels. The one who gave Naruto the money should be the old man from the third Hokage. He actually gave Naruto 10 liang. Who are you looking down on? Are the Hokage and his wife greedy for the money they left behind? How could the fourth Hokage and his wife have no inheritance? The third Hokage is so black-hearted. You can't even buy a bowl of ramen or even a bowl of vegetarian noodles for 10 ryo. Naruto noticed the expression on the big brother in front of him. Apparently he didn't have enough money to buy a bowl of ramen, so he said quickly. If the money is not enough, then I won't go. After saying that, he turned around and wanted to leave. What he usually eats is simple food. Although it can fill his stomach, it is not very delicious. But he didn't have any dissatisfaction. The old man was already a very good person if he could take care of his orphan. At this time, Ryosuke called out to him. It's okay, brother, please eat. Chapter 41. Naruto looked at this big brother with disbelief. He was so nice. Not only did he not dislike him, he even invited him to eat. Both eyes were almost filled with tears. Ryosuke didn't expect that the other party would be so moved. In fact, it was just a simple treat like ramen. Just as Ryosuke was taking Naruto to the Ichiraku ramen house, one of the two masked people hiding in the dark spoke. Captain Kakashi, the Uchiha clan is actually close to the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Isn't this too dangerous? Should we go over and stop it? Kakashi waved his hand and said. Although this person is from the Uchiha clan, he is an individual jutsu ninja and is not dangerous. We should follow Hokage-sama's instructions and protect him secretly without exposing our identity. In fact, his friend Uchiha Obito is also from the Uchiha clan. He was also given a sharingan before his death. Not all Uchiha people are arrogant. Besides, this Uchiha Ryosuke is also the new best friend Kai mentioned that he has made, both are taijutsu ninjas. The person Kai identifies with should not be an evil person. Ryosuke quickly took Naruto to the Ichiraku ramen house and ordered 2 sumptuous ramen from the Ichiraku owner. Not only did he invite Naruto to have a portion, he also wanted to have a portion himself. No matter how much you eat this food, you will never get tired of it. Boss Ichiraku frowned slightly when he saw Naruto entering his shop, and then he felt relieved. Although there were rumors everywhere on the street that this child was the reincarnation of a demon fox, how could he believe such outrageous claims? The other party has hands and feet, and is clearly a human child. I don't know what kind of unscrupulous thing came out with such outrageous news. A child is ostracized by these adults. Not to mention children, even adults may not be able to bear it. Then he was about to go back to the back room and prepare a sumptuous bowl of ramen to take care of him. Wait a moment, you two. It will be done soon. Naruto relaxed when he saw the boss like this. This was the first time he was not kicked out by the store. Although brother Ryosuke was going to treat him to ramen, if the store didn't allow it, even if he had money, he wouldn't entertain them. Now he can safely try what kind of delicious ramen Ryosuke ni said. The boss quickly brought out 2 steaming bowls of ramen. The bowl placed in front of Naruto was obviously a little larger than him. It seemed that the boss was interested. Ryosuke greeted Naruto with a smile. Eat it while it's hot, it tastes better. When Naruto heard this, he immediately picked up the chopsticks on one side, picked up the noodles and put them into his mouth. This tastes so good. Everyone was excited, this was so delicious. Eating ramen is no slower than Ryosuke's. In no time, I finished eating a large bowl of ramen, and even the soup. How many mouthfuls did it take to feel satisfied? Ryosuke was originally worried that Naruto would be full after eating so much ramen at such a young age, but he felt relieved when he saw that he didn't feel any discomfort. After all, it doesn't seem strange for a boy to eat a big bowl of ramen. What's more, this is the other person's favorite ramen. They both ate a full bowl of ramen and just sat in the shop to take a good rest. Fortunately, there weren't many people in the ramen shop at this time, so it wouldn't affect the store's business. Before leaving, Ryosuke took out a large stack of money and handed it to the boss. The boss looked very surprised and said hurriedly, Boss, this is obviously a lot of money, only 120 taels is enough. Ryosuke explained. This is 1920 taels. If Naruto wants to come here to eat ramen in the future, the fee will be deducted from here. If the money runs out, just tell me when I come here in the future, and I will pay in advance. As the grandson of the great elder of the Uchiha clan, he has never been short of money. Naruto's identity is the son of the fourth Hokage, but he is not inferior to him at all, and he should not be short of money in the first place. Only then did Boss Yul understand that the other party had such a plan, and he happily took the money. He didn't have the distrust of the Uchiha clan that other villagers did. On the contrary, the Uchiha clan guards enforce the law very strictly and have caught many guys who want to come here for freeloading. He has a small business to begin with. If he is taken advantage of by freeloaders again, then he will no longer have to think about making money. It will be fine if he does not lose money. Naruto looked at Ryosuke-san with excitement on his face and felt like tears were about to flow down his face. Now he feels that it is great to be born in this village. After resting for a while, the two walked out of the Ichiraku ramen shop and walked a short distance together on the street. Naruto asked Ryosuke before they separated. Brother Ryosuke, why are you so nice to me? It must be the first time they meet today. Naruto was indeed happy that someone was being so kind to him, but he wanted to know the reason. Ryosuke said slowly, because you are a descendant of heroes. We cannot let the descendants of heroes shed tears. The fourth Hokage and his wife died to protect Konoha, and they were people who truly practiced the will of fire. A character with basically no dark spots. Unlike the third Hokage who requires others to practice the will of fire, this is the fundamental difference. Naruto's eyes widened. The other party's words had refreshed his understanding. A descendant of a hero, then whose child am I? Why am I called a demon fox by the villagers? When Ryosuke was about to reveal Naruto's identity, a man with white hair and a mask appeared beside them and said coldly. Stop talking. Ryosuke looked at the person who appeared, recognized the white hair, and frowned slightly. Isn't this Kakashi from ANBU? Unexpectedly, he was the one protecting Naruto personally. Naruto was very excited at this moment. He had always wanted to know the identity of his father and the reason why he was called a demon fox. Because he had hands and feet and no tail, he was not a fox at all. Are those villagers really blind? But he didn't expect to be disturbed at this moment, and his face suddenly became unhappy. Who are you? Why do you care about our affairs? Kakashi ignored the younger Naruto and stared at Ryosuke Uchiha. Ryosuke didn't want to fall out with Kakashi here, so he smiled and said to Naruto. You go back first. As for your identity, you will know it later. Naruto finally chose to go back. Although he wanted to know, he didn't want to cause trouble to brother Ryosuke if someone stopped him. After Naruto left, Kakashi said slowly. I hope you won't come into contact with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki again. If he hadn't stopped him, Naruto would have almost known his identity. If Naruto knew his identity, he might not be able to keep it secret. If it were leaked, it might be very dangerous. Ryosuke asked rhetorically. Why? Kakashi said calmly. I'm afraid it's not good for the Uchiha clan to be close to the nine-tailed Jinchuriki. Ryosuke said helplessly. Do you think the Nine Tails is controlled by our Uchiha clan? Now that you also have the three Magatama Sharingan, you should control the tailed beast and show it to me. The ANBU ninjas nearby all looked at Kakashi. Does Captain Kakashi also have such a powerful power? Kakashi was a little surprised that the other party knew his identity. However, now is not the time to worry about this. His left eye was given to him by Uchiha Obito. But even with the three Magatama Sharingan, it is actually impossible to control tailed beasts. Maybe the Nine Tails rebellion was not caused by the Uchiha clan. But that's not his role now. He could only explain. The third Hokage does not want to see anyone from the Uchiha clan appearing next to the nine-tailed Jinchuriki. Ryosuke did not back down because the other party moved out of Hokage's identity, but continued to question. Is this how the third Hokage ordered you to protect the fourth son? The villagers saved by the fourth actually despised and ostracized the fourth son. Is this how you protect the fourth son? If I remember correctly, you are also a disciple of the fourth Hokage, right? Are you just watching all this? Kakashi felt a little headache. The other party not only knew that Naruto was a Kyuubi, but also knew about his life experience. But Kakashi has experienced darkness since he was a child, and thinks that Naruto can survive even if he experiences this kind of darkness. He explained, "Of course I am protecting him from the side and will not let him be threatened in any way." At the same time, the third Hokage has banned the villagers from talking about the Kyuubi. Ryosuke suddenly felt speechless. Such protection only protected Naruto's life, not his dignity. Why not reveal his identity? He doesn't deserve this. After announcing Naruto's identity, no matter how ignorant these villagers are, they probably won't treat a hero's son like this. Why was the identity of Naruto's nine-tailed Jinchuriki leaked? Now the villagers basically know that he is the Jinchuriki, the incarnation of the demon fox, so spies from other villages should be able to get Naruto's identity if they come to Konoha to inquire about it. Bar. What are the third Hokage and your ANBU doing? Is there a traitor in your ANBU? Let your third Hokage handle it properly, and don't let the blood of the Konoha heroes be shed in vain. After saying that, Ryosuke returned to his clan alone. He had said enough, and his purpose was naturally not to want Naruto to have a miserable childhood. If the top management of Konoha still treats Naruto like this, then he will personally take action to give Naruto a good childhood. Kakashi was a little stunned when he heard Ryosuke's words. Don't let the blood of Konoha's heroes be shed in vain. His father was once a hero of Konoha, but during a mission, he was slandered by the villagers for giving up the mission to save his companions, and finally committed suicide due to overwhelm. Maybe Naruto really shouldn't be allowed to endure such pain. If he couldn't bear it anymore, he might commit suicide. In that case, how would he treat his mentor? And now everyone in the village knows the identity of Naruto's nine-tailed Jinchuriki. If spies from other villages come over, they can really investigate such information casually. After changing shifts with other ANBU secretly monitored and protected Naruto. Kakashi came to the Hokage's office secretly. Hokage-sama, I have something important to report. The third Hokage, who was sitting in the Hokage's chair, glanced at Kakashi. Just tell me if you have anything to do. Kakashi said respectfully. Lord Hokage ordered me to protect the nine-tailed Jinchuriki Uzumaki Naruto, but I found that the surrounding villagers seemed to know the identity of Naruto's nine-tailed Jinchuriki. I suspected that there was a mole in our ANBU. We should find this mole. Quote, in fact, only a few people on the battlefield at that time knew that the fourth Hokage sealed the nine tails into his son before he died. At the same time, the third Hokage also issued a hush-hush order, asking them to keep this secret. The third Hokage glanced at Kakashi. The mole you're talking about is me. Do you want me to catch myself? Of course, Uzumaki Naruto's identity as a demon fox was spread by others, otherwise how could these villagers know such confidential information? His reasons for doing so were of course. In order to make the villagers hate Uzumaki Naruto, he appeared next to Naruto in an amiable image. Only in this way can we use the will of fire to brainwash Uzumaki Naruto and make him become a person on his side in the future. Of course, it was impossible for him to tell Kakashi about this purpose. He said calmly, don't worry, I will do this. Maybe it's not a mole, but someone who made a mistake and leaked the news. Kakashi heard the Hokage's speculation and felt that it was really possible. He suggested, since the villagers already know the identity of Naruto's nine-tails Jinchuriki, and he has been ostracized and hated by the villagers, should we announce his identity so that Naruto can grow up smoothly? As the son of the fourth Hokage, he should be treated like this. How could the third Hokage be willing to reveal Naruto's identity? In that case, his plan would be completely ruined, and he would not forget to give up Naruto, the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, so easily. With this chess piece, not only will his position as Hokage become more stable. At the same time, even if he abdicates in the future, with the support of the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, it is very likely that the Sarutobi clan will be able to have another Hokage. So he had to find a way to fool him. Kakashi, you are thinking too one-sided. Although it was a mistake that allowed the villagers to know the identity of Naruto's nine-tailed Jinchuriki, if the identity of the fourth son of the fourth Hokage is leaked, those who once had a grudge against the fourth Hokage the ninja will probably take action against him. You're thinking too superficially. Kakashi thought about it and felt that what the third Hokage said made sense. After all, the fourth Hokage had killed many ninjas from enemy villages. If his identity was leaked, he might be retaliated against. The third Hokage is wise. It's just that Naruto is being treated unfairly now. What should he do? The third Hokage was secretly happy that he had fooled Kakashi, so he would fool him again. Kakashi, you are still too shallow. You must know that Naruto is now the nine-tailed Jinchuriki. He is the great fighting force of the village in the future. His loyalty must be guaranteed. Even if you are not understood and treated unfairly by the villagers, you must remain loyal to the village. This is a test for him. Do you understand it? Kakashi could only nod when he heard this explanation from the Hokage. In fact, he didn't quite understand. Maybe what Hokage-sama said is right, but I always feel that something is a little wrong. The third Hokage saw Kakashi like this and ordered. Don't let that Uchiha Ryosuke get close to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki again. You also know that the Nine Tails rebellion may have been started by the Uchiha clan manipulating the Nine Tails. Kakashi nodded in agreement and then left the Hokage's office. The third Hokage who stayed in the office showed a smile, congratulating himself on his wit. The next morning, Ryosuke was still undergoing physical training to achieve the increase in physical attributes. Although he can improve his body only by being beaten, he can't always look for Metki. After all, this is not a long-term solution. You can't always compete with Kai in terms of true strength, as that would be damaging to both parties. He, Ryosuke, can still rely on his body's recovery power to be strong and recover his body the next day, but Kai is different. If he is physically injured, it will interfere with his life. This is not what Ryosuke wants to see. What's more, although he, Ryosuke, can keep practicing without having to think about making money, it is impossible for Kai. He is just a civilian ninja, and he can't always stop doing tasks. If fighting with the opponent hurts the opponent's body, then the mission fails due to injury, or even death. This is not what Ryosuke wants. While he was practicing alone, a man wearing a mask appeared not far from him. Ryosuke felt someone coming and stopped what he was doing. What are you here for? Has the third Hokage decided to protect Naruto? Maybe the third generation can still do some personnel work. Kakashi sighed inwardly, said slowly, the third Hokage asked me to tell you not to approach Naruto again. Ryosuke was a little stunned at this time. Although he had resentment in his heart, now was not the time to fall out with the third Hokage. Then what are you going to do with Naruto? Are you going to make his identity public? He was more concerned about it now. Kakashi thought for a while and told Ryosuke Uchiha of the third Hokage's decision. Because these decisions are no village secret. Ryosuke's expression changed when he heard Kakashi's words. He actually took the villagers' ridicule and hatred of Naruto as a test. Such a high-sounding reason. Just like Gaara, the Jinchuriki of Sunagaku village, his father kept looking for people to stimulate Gaara, even assassinate him. In the end, he sent Yashimaru, who had always been friendly to Gaara, to assassinate him. In the end, Gaara used Shukaku's power to kill his assassin, and found out that he had killed his brother-in-law. At this moment, he almost went crazy. From this moment on, Gaara almost became a murder weapon. If I hadn't met Naruto in the end, I might have completely fallen into darkness. In fact, his father also wanted to test Gaara by doing this. Only those who have experienced darkness and still have love for the village are trustworthy and qualified Jinchuriki. But in Ryosuke's eyes, this is purely stupid. Facts have proved that what the fourth Kazekage did was wrong. Even though Gaara was later loyal to Sand Hidden Village, it was not his credit, but Gaara's learning from Naruto, which was Naruto's credit. Ryosuke stared at Kakashi. Do you also agree with this test? Kakashi nodded regretfully. This is Hokage-sama's decision. Although he didn't agree with this decision, he had no choice but to make the decision. When Ryosuke saw Kakashi like this, he immediately felt that Kakashi was really unworthy of the fourth Hokage, and the apprentice he taught was like this. I remember that Konoha White Fang also suffered abuse from the villagers before committing suicide. Is this also a test for him from the top management of Konoha? Do you also think that such a test is necessary? Kakashi's expression changed when he heard this. His father was once a hero of Konoha, but he once gave up his mission because he wanted to save his companions. This led to the villagers reviling him behind his back, and even the companions he saved were reviling him behind their backs. Eventually my father committed suicide. Of course he did not agree that his father was a sinner. People who don't even care about their companions are worse than trash. But what can he do? Everyone in the village thinks so and thinks his father is wrong. Maybe this is also a test for his father by the high-level officials of Konoha. It's just that my father couldn't bear it and committed suicide. Maybe Naruto will follow his father's footsteps. Maybe Naruto really shouldn't be allowed to undergo such a test. Naruto was so young, Kakashi didn't think he could handle it. Even his father couldn't bear it. He said slowly. I don't agree, but this is Hokage-sama's order. Ryosuke's face lit up with joy when he heard this. It seems that Kakashi is not a hopeless person. Go back and tell the third Hokage. Members of the Uchiha clan can contact whoever they want and leave them alone. Even if he is Hokage, he is not qualified to care about our Uchiha clan's affairs. Since the third generation Mars didn't intend to give Naruto a good childhood, then he, Uchiha Ryosuke, would give it to him. Kakashi was a little shocked when he heard Ryosuke's words. I originally thought that this guy and Uchiha Obito were a different type of Uchiha, without the arrogance of the big clan. Unexpectedly, he saw it wrong. The Uchiha Ryosuke in front of him might be more arrogant than most of the Uchiha clan at this moment. He said in surprise, "Are you really going to do this?" Now the relationship between the top management of Konoha and the Uchiha clan is already at odds with each other. If Ryosuke Uchiha confronts the third Hokage, the consequences will be serious. He is not siding with the Uchiha clan, but the big clan in the village is working with Konoha officials, which is not a good thing for the village. Uchiha Ryosuke nodded. So what if we fight against the third generation old man now? Even if we want to take action against him, the Uchiha clan, we have to negotiate with Kumogaku later. What happened in Cloud Hidden Village was enough for the third Hokage to drink a bottle of wine. It was obviously Kumogaku's fault, but the younger brother of the Hyuga family, Hyuga Hazashi, was killed as a scapegoat. This might be able to end the war, but it would completely make him lose the loyalty of the Hyuga family. Among his subordinates, there was no one from the Hyuga family. Kakashi wanted to say something else, but stopped himself. He didn't think he could convince the arrogant Uchiha in front of him. What's more, he really couldn't change the decision of the third Hokage. Then he disappeared into the woods. When Ryosuke saw Kakashi disappear, he just continued his training and improving his strength was the strongest trump card for toughness. After Kakashi left the grove of the Uchiha clan, he went straight to the Hokage's office. The third Hokage asked when he saw Kakashi arriving. Have you conveyed my order to Ryosuke Uchiha? He was very concerned about this matter. If Ryosuke Uchiha came into contact with Naruto for one more day, it would ruin his plan even more. He must have the important chess piece of Uzumaki Naruto in his hands. Kakashi responded truthfully. Hokage-sama, he refused. The third Hokage hummed, and then his expression changed a little. What did you say? He refused. How dare he refuse the order of himself, the Hokage-sama? What did he say? Kakashi said it truthfully. When the third Hokage heard Uchiha Ryosuke's exact words, anger rose in his heart. He cursed secretly that the evil Uchiha clan actually wanted to ruin his good deeds. But he still calmed down the anger in his heart. This guy's identity has long been checked. If the only grandson of the great elder of the Uchiha clan was touched, the Uchiha clan would probably object. Because the great elder is highly respected. Moreover, now is the critical time to prepare for peace negotiations with Kumoin village, and the relationship with the Uchiha clan cannot worsen anymore. You still have to think of countermeasures, he said. Since he wants to make contact, let him make contact. Tell him that he is not allowed to reveal his identity as the son of the fourth Hokage to Naruto, otherwise Naruto will fall into the revenge of the enemies of the fourth Hokage. With this guarantee, the villagers would still hate Naruto, but he could continue to maintain his kind face in front of Naruto and brainwash Naruto with the will of fire. As long as you treat Naruto better than Uchiha Ryosuke, then you can naturally win over Naruto. Children are the easiest to win over, they have confidence. This is what he is good at. Kakashi agreed upon hearing this. disappeared from the office, went to the grove to find Ryosuke again, and told Ryosuke what the Hokage had decided. But Ryosuke nodded in agreement. Unexpectedly, the third Hokage would back down if he was a little tougher. I don't know if it's because it's almost time to negotiate peace with Union Village. Regardless of this, as long as the other party does not prevent him from contacting Naruto. He smiled and looked at Kakashi. Tell the third Hokage and I will keep it a secret. Maybe there will really be former enemies of the fourth Hokage to assassinate Naruto. Although Ryosuke felt that exposing Naruto's Nine-Tails Jinchuriki had put Naruto in great danger. Because the tailed beast is the village's great fighting power, not to mention the strongest among the tailed beasts. With such combat power, how could other villages not have any ideas? Naruto was still a child, and as long as he was kidnapped, it would be worth paying any price. After all, he controlled the Kyuubi and created a Jinchuriki, which could provide the village with great combat power. Although it is not an easy task to control the Kyuubi, some forces are willing to try. Kakashi felt relieved when he saw Uchiha Ryosuke agreed. He immediately went back and reported to the third Hokage. Time flies and more than 2 months have passed. During this period of time, Konoha's senior officials had not taken any action against Uchiha. And Ryosuke can also improve his strength with peace of mind. In particular, you have to improve your physical attributes every day. If you are not sparring with Kai, then you have to practice alone according to the method of Saitama teacher in One Punch Man. It can also improve one's physical attributes. Now his strength has completely reached the Jonin level in terms of taijutsu alone. Because of his sparring with Kai, he already had the upper hand, and Kai was undoubtedly at the Jonin level in terms of taijutsu alone. Although it may only be an ordinary Junin level. Ryosuke doesn't know how far he has reached now. He just felt that he was no longer a rookie. Even the 8-door Dunjia, when he was not afraid of pain, he was able to successfully open 4 doors in 2 months. Opening the 3rd door of discipleship and the 4th door of injury is even more painful than opening the first 2 doors. Because these 2 doors are on the spine. Opening these 2 doors made Ryosuke feel like his waist was about to explode, and even made him afraid to walk. Fortunately, I can recover after a night's rest. This is all due to the system. Otherwise, even if he was not afraid of pain, he would not dare to start training without taking care of his body. In other words, if other people train like him, not only their heads will explode, but even their waists will explode. This is why it takes a physical practitioner who can endure hardships 20 years to practice to the point where all 8 gates of Dunjia are fully activated. Metkai has always seen this drastic change in Ryosuke's strength. Deep down, I was shocked. Metkai feels inferior to Ryosuke's hardworking qualities. Because it took him 7 or 8 years to practice 8-door Dunjia to open 4 doors, and then it took another 2 or 3 years to successfully open 1 door. Ryosuke was only 1 gate away from catching up with him. Although he was shocked by Ryosuke's training speed, he was not jealous. In other words, even if a powerful ninja who is easily jealous of others will not be jealous after seeing Ryosuke's training process. Because it is entirely based on the cultivation of not being afraid of death. It's impossible for other ninjas to do this, so naturally they won't be envious. I'm afraid some are just surprised. At the same time, Metkai also understood that Ryosuke had a special physique, because every time Ryosuke trained desperately, he could always recover the next day. This physique is so powerful, so suitable for practicing physical skills. Enduring hardship is the only secret to practicing physical skills. Of course, the premise is that the body can bear it. And Ryosuke is undoubtedly satisfied with both points, so it is strange that Ryosuke's strength does not increase. In the morning, Ryosuke came to the grove on the edge of the clan land and started practicing as usual. A group of One Punch Man teacher Saitama's training can no longer fatigue his body and increase his physical attributes. This is easy to solve, so just do the second group. Although it takes longer, if it can enhance the attributes, then everything is easy to say. While training, a tribesman slowly approached the small forest. The person who came was none other than Uchiha Inari. Although the Yashira elder told him not to get close to Uchiha Ryosuke last time. Because Ryosuke is very dangerous. This person is more radical than their radical faction. It can be said that he is a crazy faction, trying to eliminate all Konoha senior officials. But among the three geniuses in the family, only Ryosuke stands on the family's side. Although the idea is a bit crazy. But this is not impossible. If the high-level officials of Konoha are really eliminated, then the Uchiha clan can truly rest easy. So he wanted to see how strong Ryosuke is now. Ryosuke's strength has skyrocketed before, but will it skyrocket again in 2 months? If this is the case, what the other party said is not crazy, but only those who have real strength have such thoughts. And he, Uchiha Inari, also wanted to try whether the so-called 8-gate Dunjia was that magical. By cultivating all 8 gates, you can actually gain power that is dozens of times higher than that of a shadow-level person. If he had such strength, he would be willing to die, as long as he could revive the Uchiha clan. Of course, the 8th generation elder once told him not to think about this technique as it was extremely difficult to practice. But Dao Huo is still unwilling to give up until he has tried it. Otherwise, I will still feel itchy in my heart. There is no training method for this technique in his family, and he knows that the people who know this technique are Metkai and Uchiha Ryosuke. Of these two people, who would he choose to entrust to guide him? Although he will no longer despise Metkai, there is no doubt that Uchiha Ryosuke is his own clan, so he will definitely choose his own clan. After entering the grove, it didn't take long for Anabi to see Ryosuke still practicing his physical skills. Now he was doing push-ups quickly, which gave him a vague feeling of strength. The movements are so standard and the speed is extremely fast. After watching for a few minutes, Dao Huo's face became more and more surprised. Of course he can do this. But it won't be that fast, nor will it last that long. Being able to do this kind of action undoubtedly increases Ryosuke's strength. After Ryosuke finished 200 push-ups, he stood up and looked at the intruder. What did you want to do here? Anabi originally wanted to see how Ryosuke was doing, but now he suddenly had an idea. Ryosuke, can you spar with me again? When Ryosuke heard what the other party said, he had an idea in his mind. The detector that was delivered to his door was not in vain. He also wanted to test the extent of his strength. No matter how bad Inari is, he is still an elite Junin of the Uchiha clan, so he should be able to detect something. He waved to Uchiha Inari. Bring it on. Facing Ryosuke's somewhat contemptuous action, Uchiha Inari was not angry, but his face became serious. At the same time, his eyes focused, turned red, and 3 Magatama appeared in the pupils, opening the 3 Magatama sharingan. Ryosuke is a taijutsu ninja, and turning on the sharingan can make him more confident against Ryosuke. Ryosuke saw Inari activate the 3 Magatama sharingan, so naturally he also activated it. But he didn't use the 8 gates of Dunjia. To deal with the current Dao Huo, it felt like he no longer needed to activate such a technique. Then he spread his legs and rushed towards Dao Huo quickly. He raised his fist and hit Dao Huo's body. Inari saw that Ryosuke was so fast and his punch attack was so fierce, so he had no intention of confronting him head-on. Instead, he ducked and avoided it. Although he avoided Ryosuke's attack, he felt a strong wind brush against his face. This is the wind created by the opponent's punch, so strong. It is enough to show the power of the opponent's punch. If he takes this blow head-on, it probably won't be a good thing. He wanted to fight back, but Ryosuke clenched his left fist and attacked again. Helpless Dao Huo could only stretch out his hand to block it. When they first made contact, Dao Huo looked surprised. He felt that the opponent's punch was so powerful that it made his arm a little painful. Then the two began to fight in close combat. But Uchiha Inari had no ability to fight back at all and was constantly being suppressed and beaten. For him now, there is a lot of pressure, and it is already very good to be able to block Ryosuke's attack. In the end, there was a loophole in Anabi's defense, and he was punched away by Ryosuke Uchiha. At this moment, Ryosuke's heart is full of clans. It seems that he is still very strong. With all his strength, Anahuo is no match for him. Uchiha Inari, who fell to the ground, slowly got up. I was extremely surprised. 2 months ago, the two men's physical skills were almost the same, but now he is obviously at a disadvantage. Even Ryosuke has easily defeated him in physical skills before even using the 8-gate dungeon. It really shocked his heart. Ryosuke truly deserves to be the third top genius in the family, an undoubted taijutsu genius. It is undoubtedly very unwise to compare ninjutsu with such a genius in taijutsu. In that case, he would have no choice but to use his family's ninjutsu. Make quick gestures with both hands. Si Wei Shen Hai Wu Yin. At the same time, he was refining chakra, his chest was inflated, and he directly spit out a blazing ball of fire and attacked Ryosuke. Ryosuke saw this blazing ball of fire and felt nothing. With his current speed, he can easily dodge. But maybe the other party wants to use this technique to hide his figure. But he won't fall into the opponent's scheme again. Looking at the huge fireball getting closer and closer, I wonder what would happen if I split this huge fireball with my hands. But after thinking about it, he let it go. After all, if he used it, the flames would undoubtedly burn his palms. Thinking of this, he thought that if he wrapped his hands with chakra, wouldn't there be no problem? He has plenty of chakra now. After all, although he and Hong don't make love every day, they do so often. Chakra has improved rapidly, and he is no longer as weak as before. The abundant chakra made him want to split this giant fireball even more. And even if he failed, he would be fine again the next day thanks to his body's resilience. This idea became more firm in my mind. So the chakra was refined, and the powerful blue chakra enveloped his right hand. Ryosuke controlled chakra as much as possible to make him sharper. All this was accomplished in just an instant. After doing all this, Ryosuke suddenly rushed towards the huge fireball and slashed it with his hand. The Hao fireball was split instantly, split into two halves, shattered into flames and fell to the ground. Ryosuke was a little excited at this moment. He really did it. As a result, his hand was wrapped with chakra and was not burned. He just felt a little warm. He was already accustomed to pain and didn't care about the heat. Dao Huo was stunned when he saw such a scene. I have never seen anyone resist his powerful fireball technique like this. In previous battles, the enemy either avoided or used ninjutsu to collide. Ryosuke's actions, although a bit reckless, are enough to show how powerful he is. What surprised him even more was what came next. He saw Ryosuke forming a seal with his hands. With a bang, as the mist appeared, a clone actually appeared next to Ryosuke, and then attacked him. In fact, Ryosuke thinks very simply. I don't know if the current Uchiha Inari is a clone, so just use the clone to deal with the opponent. This way, there is no need to deal with the main body, and naturally there is no need to worry about being attacked by Inari who may not know where he is hiding. Even if it is a clone, his clone is stronger than Dao Huo's clone. Because he is rich in chakra, he naturally gave this clone a sufficient amount of chakra. The more chakra the clone has, the higher the clone's strength will be. Inari originally planned to wait for Ryosuke to dodge, then use the clone technique to hide the main body. The main body finds an opportunity to use the powerful fireball technique on Ryosuke again, that way it has a chance of winning. But unexpectedly, Ryosuke actually split his big fireball. He was so shocked that he forgot to use the clone technique. Ryosuke's use of the clone technique to test himself was undoubtedly unnecessary. But it can be seen from this that Ryosuke is cautious. Wait until Ryosuke's clone rushes in front of him and attacks him. Inari prepares to break up Ryosuke's clone. The clone's strength is generally only 1/10 of the original body's strength. Even if he was no match for Ryosuke's true form, he could easily defeat the clone. Blast away with one punch. Unexpectedly, the clone dodged his attack and then attacked Dao Huo. Dao Huo looked shocked. This Ryosuke clone still had some strength, so it immediately launched an attack in earnest. But even with all his strength, Ryosuke's clone was not dissipated. It seems that Ryosuke has allocated a large amount of chakra to this clone. It didn't take long for the rice fire to defeat Ryosuke's clone, and the clone turned into a white mist and disappeared. Ryosuke watched Inari defeat his clone, so this was naturally his true form. He did not immediately launch an attack, but stood quietly. Inari also did not attack because he could not think of any way to defeat Ryosuke. The opponent directly split open his proud fireball technique. There is no need to consider physical skills. As for the genjutsu, he had already tried it. The opponent's sharingan eyes were stronger than his, and his own genjutsu was useless against him. Moreover, Ryosuke has already crushed him in all directions, and his fighting style has become cautious. It is not easy for him to sneak attack on the opponent. He sighed and said, "You win. It's a pity that this time the defeat was even worse than last time, and Ryosuke was not even able to show his strength. And Ryosuke already has a rough idea of his own strength. He can easily defeat the Jonin. If he can open the 4 gates and increase his strength by 4 times, he should be able to compete with the powerful cage-level warriors. To be honest, this is just his feeling. As for whether it can be done, I'm really not sure. It's a pity that there is no chance to find a strong shadow-level person to have a good encounter. There is no doubt that the shadow-level experts in the village are the 3rd Hokage and Danzo. If you go to find these 2 people by yourself, they will undoubtedly be delivering food. Thinking of this, since you can't find someone from outside the clan, then the clan leader of your own clan may be the one. As the leader of the Uchiha clan, he should have cage-level strength. Even if he is not that good, he should be close to cage-level strength. What's more, he still activated the Mangekyo Sharingan. But even if they fight, the Fugaku clan leader will probably not activate the Mangekyo Sharingan. In the original plot, Fugaku did not use the Mangekyo Sharingan until the genocide. However, even if the other party doesn't use it, he is still a person worth fighting against. Test your current strength. Ryosuke looked at the rice fire that was still there. If nothing happens, just leave. He didn't really want people watching him train. Uchiha Inari hesitated for a moment before speaking. Ryosuke, can you teach me the 8 gates of armor? Although he is not as strong as the other party now, he is more happy. Of course he also wants to gain greater strength. Ryosuke glanced at the other party, actually wanting to learn the 8 armor dunning techniques. If there were other extremely powerful techniques, he would also consider whether to teach them to the other party. But there was no need for him to consider the power of the 8-gate Dunjia technique. If you learn it well, it will be your opponent's skill. What's more, the other party is still a member of his own tribe. He spoke, I can teach you. Whether you can learn it or not depends on you. After Uchiha Inari heard this, a happy look appeared on his face. Thanks. Ryosuke began to explain to the other party. Now I will tell you what the 8 gates of armor are. 8-gate Dunjia is a physical technique that temporarily gains powerful power by unlocking the channels that bind chakra in the human body. In the meridian system where chakra flows, the 8 gates that inhibit and control chakra in the body include the door of opening, the gate of rest, the gate of life, the gate of injury, the gate of dew, the gate of scenery, the gate of surprise, and the gate of death. The 8 gates will set a limit on the amount of chakra in the body, but the 8 gates armor dunning technique can force the chakra to exceed this limit, thereby eliciting one's own power that is 10 times stronger than before. After saying that, Ryosuke looked at Inari. Do you understand? Dao Huo nodded. Understood. It's actually quite simple, just open the limiter and release chakra to gain powerful power. Ryosuke saw Inari and understood, so he moved on to the next step. Now that you understand, let me demonstrate it to you again. Use your sharingan to see clearly the direction of my chakra flow. You can already see where the first door opens. After saying that, he clenched his hands into fists, then refined his chakra and rushed towards the door on the left side of his mind, rushing away in an instant. The veins on Ryosuke's forehead swelled and his skin darkened. He exuded a strong momentum. He said slowly, "Did you see clearly?" Anabi just used all his power to observe all Ryosuke's operations, which was quite simple. I see clearly. Ryosuke heard what he said and continued. Now that you understand, the next step is to close the door. This step is quite simple. As long as you stop refining chakra, the door will close automatically. Immediately, Ryosuke turned off his chakra, and then his aura returned to normal, the veins on his head disappeared, and his skin color turned white. Dao Huo couldn't help but feel excited when he saw how easy it was to operate the first gate of the 8-gate Dunjia. He said hurriedly, "The door after that, Ryosuke, introduce it to me." Ryosuke rolled his eyes at the other person. Let's learn the first lesson first and then talk about it. Now do what I just did and practice it in practice. Inari didn't rush to learn the next few doors and did as Ryosuke said. Refining chakra, and then controlling the chakra to open the door. Originally, the refined chakra was relatively small, so the door did not move at all. He also increased the amount of chakra and opened the door a little. But then came a severe headache. It hurts. He immediately stopped refining chakra. Dao Huo's face was full of disbelief. How could it hurt so much? When he thought of the pain just now, he was a little reluctant to continue practicing the 8-gate Dunjia. Compared with other practiced ninjutsu and genjutsu, although there are difficult types, as long as you practice a few times, it is not difficult with his talent, especially since he also has the sharingan. But practicing 8-door Dunjia really made him feel a little numb. No wonder Yashura told him to stop thinking about this technique. This kind of difficulty is really quite difficult, not to mention that it is really open now. Ryosuke couldn't help but said when he saw him like this. The steps are correct, do you still want to continue practicing? Dao Huo couldn't help but hesitate. It was so difficult to practice 8-gate Dunjia. He really had to think about it. After thinking for a while, he said, "Practice, Ryosuke, you have succeeded too, I believe I can do it too." Liangji was stunned for a moment. His success depended more on his increasingly powerful body, which could withstand the pain, and even more on his ability to recover. It is impossible for Dao Huo to have this ability. Ryosuke looked at Inari and said, "Then after you have mastered the first step, come to me and ask for the next stage of training methods. Next, I'm going to start practicing. If there's nothing else, you can leave." Dao Huo knew that the other party had issued an eviction order. There was no anger in his heart. After all, the other party had taught him the 8-gate Dunjia. Before leaving, he couldn't help but ask, "Then how many of the 8 gates of Dunjia have you mastered?" "It's 4 doors. Ryosuke does not hide his training progress. Dao Huo couldn't help but change his face when he heard this. He is not a novice in ninjutsu. Opening the restricted door behind the 8-gate Dunjia must be more difficult than the previous restricted door. It is more difficult, and it should mean more pain in the 8 gates Dunjia art. Thinking of this, his body began to feel cold involuntarily. The most important thing is that if Ryosuke opens the 4 doors and confronts his current self, I am afraid that once Ryosuke gets close, he will be severely injured by Ryosuke in an instant. Uchiha Ryosuke is undoubtedly the taijutsu genius of the Uchiha clan. This matter needs to be reported to the 8th generation elder. As for cultivating the 8-gate Dunjia, we will talk about it later when we have time." He was definitely not afraid of pain. After Inahu left, Ryosuke continued his previous training. He had just finished 200 push-ups, so the next step was 200 squats. After completing 2 sets of One Punch Man teacher Saitama's training methods, I received attribute point bonuses. He just returned to his room and took a simple bath to wash away the sweat, then lay down on a chair and rested well. He opened the personal attributes panel in the automatic training system. Host: Ryosuke Uchiha. Strength: 135, practicing at a slow speed. Speed: 135, practicing at a slow speed. Physique: 125 points, practicing at a fast pace. Mental strength: 69, practicing at a slow speed. Chakra: 5.4 cards, practicing at a slow speed. Sharingan: 3 Magatama, in the process of practicing at a fast pace. 3 Body technique, turtle speed training. Fire release how fireball technique, training at turtle speed. 8 gates of escape, open 4 gates. Rating: penumbra level. Strength, speed, and physique have all increased 5 or 6 times. The evaluation has gone from the original ordinary Chunin to the current penumbra level. Penumbra level is probably above the elite Jonin level and below the cage level. He felt that this evaluation was not accurate. If he used the forbidden technique 8-gate Dunjia, he would definitely have the strength to compete with the shadow level. Maybe the system didn't take this into account. The surge in mental power was obtained when making love with Hong, and the accompanying increase in the chakra of the boulder. Now his chakra amount is a little more than 5 times that of Kakashi. It seems that the number has increased a little, but it is not actually because he is not trying hard to make love with Yuhi Hong. In fact, it was because Yuhi Kurenai couldn't bear it, so they basically did it once a week after that, which was a real big battle. As for the Sharingan, during this period, no one dared to laugh at his Sharingan anymore. After all, the 3 Magatama Sharingan is already considered powerful in Konoha village. The one who deserves to be laughed at may be the Mangekyo Sharingan. In just over 3 months, he was upgraded from an ordinary Chunin to a half-step shadow level. In fact, once the 8-gate Dunjia comes out, it is not difficult to compete with the shadow level, but there is a time limit, so this is not included. Now I can just relax a bit. Maybe in a few more months, he would be able to upgrade from the half-step shadow level to the real shadow level. Then we will no longer be afraid of the night when the Uchiha clan will be exterminated. I don't know if Uchiha Itachi has accepted his brainwashing, as he hasn't gotten along with him much recently. However, even if Uchiha Itachi is still stubborn and still sides with Hokage, don't blame him for being rude to Ryosuke. In the afternoon, Inari came to the guard building, Uchiha Yashira's office. When he pushed the door open and entered, he saw Yashira sitting on a chair processing thick documents. He directly stated his purpose. "Eighth Elder, I have something important to report." Yashira didn't even raise his head, and from the sound he knew it was Uchiha Inabi. And he was still looking at the documents on the table, feeling a little irritable now. The security of the entire village is managed by the Uchiha clan. Handle various disputes, arrest prisoners, and patrol to protect public security. There were more things than he could handle. At the same time, he was also proud that only the Uchiha clan could control the guard force. If it were the forces in other villages, except for the Hokage's ANBU and Danzo's roots, it would be impossible to do a good job as a guard. Inabi heard what Yashira said and immediately said, "Today, I went to meet Ryosuke Uchiha." Before Inabi could continue, Yashira frowned and said dissatisfiedly, "Didn't I tell you not to contact this person? Although this person may be quite capable, the harm he brings is huge." When the other party proposed the idea of killing all the high-level officials of Konoha, even Uchiha Madara did not dare to think of it. Of course it's because he doesn't have enough strength to do so. The current Uchiha gathered the strength of the entire clan, but still did not have such strength. Only the coup forced the third Hokage to give up his position as Hokage. Anyway, the third Hokage was not a very powerful person. There is still a good chance of success in doing so. Inabi heard Yashira's words and said eagerly, "The 8th generation elder, but he is very strong." Yashira couldn't help but asked, "How strong can it be? Didn't it defeat your rice fire? Could he still be stronger than an elder like him?" Dao Huo immediately told what happened this morning. "8th elder, I had another competition with him this morning, and he was completely crushed. He didn't even use the 8-gate Dunjia, so I didn't even have the slightest chance of winning. Moreover, his 8-gate Dunjia can already open 4 gates. Yashira was a little stunned when he heard these words. He was no longer in the mood to deal with documents, but raised his head and looked at Dao Huo. If Uchiha Ryosuke can possess such strength, it will not be as simple as an elite Junin level. But the powerful fighting power of a family like Uchiha Shisui. It's a pity that Uchiha Shisui is undoubtedly a moderate. And Uchiha Ryosuke can open 4 doors. This is unscientific. Remember, this guy was practicing 8-gate Dunjia with Metkai, and the training time should not have been more than half a year." He couldn't help but said doubtfully, "Did you see Ryosuke open the 4th door?" Dao Huo couldn't help but said doubtfully, "Yudame elder, I told you, he already crushed me without opening the 8-gate Dunjia. Ryosuke taught me how to practice the 8 gates of Dunjia, but when I tried it, it was difficult to practice the first one. But Ryosuke probably wouldn't lie to me about something like this." Yashira was silent. Inahu is right, Ryosuke shouldn't brag boringly about how he has mastered the 8-gate Dunjia. He is also willing to teach the 8-gate Dunjia to his clan members, which is undoubtedly on the family's side. "You go back. When there is free space, I will talk to Ryosuke again. As long as the other party's crazy thoughts are changed, he will become a very useful talent." He decided to deal with these files now, and then talk to the other party tomorrow morning to see if he was as strong as Dao Huo said. He still knew Ryosuke's habit, which was to practice in the woods next to the clan in the morning. In the morning, Uchiha Ryosuke came to the grove to practice as usual. It feels like a day without mentioning attributes is completely wasted. The first thing to do is of course the 20-kilometer-long run. While he was running, the space above the trunk of a large tree in the woods suddenly formed a whirlpool, and a man wearing an orange whirlpool mask and a red cloud suit slowly appeared. As soon as he appeared, he looked at the surrounding scenery and couldn't help but murmured to himself, "Konoha, I haven't been back for a long time. The last time I came here, I successfully obtained the 9-tailed demon fox and wanted to destroy Konoha on a whim. Unfortunately, he was thwarted by his teacher Minato Namikaze. However, when he came here this time, he was not here to capture the Kyuubi, but to collect the sharingan. In the past few years, he read through the classics left by Uchiha Madara in the mountain cemetery and learned about the invincible eye technique of the Uchiha clan. Izanagi, when this technique is activated, the sharingan holder can use Izanagi to change the things that are not good for him that happened within a period of time into never happening, and only choose the things that are good for him to turn into reality, and activate the time according to everyone's ability is different, but you will definitely become blind after using it. During the activation time, it can change reality even if it dies, and it is a terrifying pupil technique that can make oneself invincible. Although Uchiha Obito possesses Kamui, the invincible space eye technique, he is not invincible. The last time he used the Nine Tails to destroy Konoha, he was injured by his own teacher because of this. But if you have this invincible pupil technique, then no matter how difficult your teacher is, he cannot be your opponent. Although the teacher died in the end because of sealing the Nine Tails, the ninja world is so big that he will not be so careless anymore. There are not many sharingan left by Uchiha Madara. Must stock up. If you want to buy something, then of course you have to come to the Uchiha clan to buy it. It's a pity that there are not many people from this clan going out, and most of the powerful family ninjas serve in the Konoha village guard. However, he was not afraid even in Konoha village, the local base camp. Because of his invincible eye skills and divine power. What he should think about now is how to eye-butt these Uchiha people, and of course he chooses to stay alone. It's a little less difficult this way. Just when he was about to move to find the lone Uchiha tribesman, he saw a figure running slowly towards this side. He looked somewhat majestic, and his unique hedgehog-like hair made him recognize that he was a member of the Uchiha clan. I secretly sighed in my heart, I was so lucky, I became famous right after I arrived. It looks like this tribesman is practicing physical skills. Although I'm a little confused, it doesn't matter. After absorbing the divine power, just dig out your eyes. As for the other party's life, he will definitely not let it go. If you put it back, wouldn't your information be leaked? Uchiha Ryosuke, who was running on the path, stopped in response. Look up. His pupils couldn't help but widen. A masked man unknown to others. He, Ryosuke, could see clearly the orange Uzumaki mask and the sharingan in the mask hole. Isn't this Uchiha Obito? The first time he saw the opponent's face, Ryosuke felt a deep sense of crisis. As long as he was absorbed by the opponent's divine power, it would be over. He had no intention of convincing the other party. Even Naruto, the king of mouth escape, cannot do this kind of thing. Now Obito is completely crazy because of the death of his companion Lin. He is a ruthless person who can kill even his master and his wife without hesitation. At the same time, he was also a little confused as to why the other party came to find him. At this moment, Uchiha Obito jumped down from the tree, landed firmly on the ground, and walked slowly towards Ryosuke. You should have activated your sharingan, right? He felt a strong aura from the other party. It was impossible for such a person to not have his sharingan activated. Ryosuke directly opened the 3 Magatama sharingan, preparing to deal with the opponent. The other party asked, is it because he came here to collect sharingan? There are 2 guys in the ninja world who have collected a lot of sharingan. One is Obito Uchiha and the other is Danzo Shimura. Because consuming 1 sharingan can activate the invincible eye technique Izanagi. It seemed that the other party really wanted to attack him. Now he only has penumbra level strength, but after opening the 8-gate Dunjia, he still has a chance to kill the opponent. What you have to do now is to distract the other party. Who are you and what is your purpose? Obito saw Ryosuke's scarlet sharingan and praised it. It's really good, it's the 3 Magatama sharingan. As for who I am, a dead man doesn't need to know. My goal is of course your sharingan. What he has to do now is to induce the opponent to take action, then he activates the divine power to evade the opponent's attack, and then materializes to absorb the opponent into the divine power space. During the process of being absorbed into the space by the divine power, the opponent will become unconscious. Once in the divine power space, the opponent will be a lamb to the slaughter. Ryosuke's face hardened, he really wanted to take these eyes from him and stop talking nonsense. Make a seal with your hands. Si Wei Shen Hai Wu Yin. At the same time, he refined chakra, his chest bulged, and he spit out a fireball as big as a small house and attacked Obito. Obito was slightly surprised. The powerful fireball technique was useless, but it was useless. Divine power fades. The small house-like fireball passed directly through his body, and then exploded behind him, scorching the ground. But such an attack did not harm the masked man in front of him at all. Ryosuke has known this for a long time, but this is just a feint. With his current chakra, there is no pressure to use such a powerful fireball technique. Instead, he said with a surprised look on his face. "How is this possible? How did you do it?" His eyes were filled with disbelief. Uchiha Obito's face under the mask was full of pride. His is the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the power of his right eye is emptied. Of course he won't answer the other party. As he just said, a dead man doesn't need to know that much. At the same time, he also sensed someone coming around. Who else could be around here besides the Uchiha clan? It must end quickly so as not to disturb this harvest. He quickly charged towards Ryosuke. As long as the avatar avoids the opponent's attack, and then the entity absorbs the opponent into the divine space, then the battle will be over. Ryosuke also felt someone approaching. But neither the ANBU nor the Uchiha clan could help him. Facing Obito's attack, he also felt the pressure. The other party's combination of virtuality and reality is really a bit difficult to deal with. He directly condensed chakra and opened 4 doors along the way. Open the door, close the door, live the door, hurt the door. This is the true sense of entering the 8-door Dunjia state, and the body has been damaged. Opening the 4 doors made Ryosuke burst out with a tyrannical aura. With a movement of his body, he also attacked Uchiha Obito. This situation shocked Obito. The opponent's strength has been greatly enhanced. It looks like it is the forbidden technique 8 Gates Dunjia, which has also been seen in the classics brought out by Uchiha Madara. I didn't expect that a member of the Uchiha clan could actually do this taijutsu. This technique has a fatal flaw, that is, if you use this technique, you will become extremely weak, and you will be like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. But Obito didn't intend to waste time because he sensed someone coming. What's more, it doesn't matter if the opponent's physical skills become stronger, his plan is invincible. Could it be that the other party could still use Flying Thunder God as skillfully as his teacher? However, even if he faced his teacher now, he would never fall victim to that move again. Keep moving forward, as expected. The two met in midair, but there was no collision. Ryosuke pretended to be incredulous, but in reality his legs had already accumulated strength. He waited for the opponent to reach out and then kicked him hard. After passing through Ryosuke's body, Obito smiled proudly. It's over, and it materializes at the same time. He reaches out to grab the opponent and activates the divine power to inhale. But when he stretched his hands towards the other party's body, the other party's legs suddenly kicked towards him. Obito had a frightened expression for a moment. Then he was kicked out and broke several trees before falling to the ground. At this time, his body became distorted. And Yashiro Uchiha, who had just approached here, witnessed all this. The man wearing the orange swirling mask should be the culprit who controlled the Kyuubi to attack Konoha a few years ago. It was this guy who put the blame on the Uchiha clan, giving Konoha's high-level officials an excuse to force their clan to move to the outskirts, and their status in the village plummeted. This guy needs to be caught. Yashiro had this idea in an instant and rushed towards the location of the masked man. Now Obito felt that his body had been kicked to pieces. An ordinary person would have died long ago. Fortunately, the other half of the body is Baizi's body, but now it is inconvenient for me to move. Now he was very angry, having failed again. Could it be that this Uchiha clan member was like his teacher, who saw his ability in the first fight and came up with countermeasures? What a horrible person. But after he recovers from his injuries, he will definitely come back. Then he activated his divine power and entered the divine space in a flash. Just before Obito disappeared, Yashiro arrived not far from Obito's location. I saw the other person's figure disappear with my own eyes. He cursed secretly, let this guy escape, because this person's breath can no longer be felt around him. Time and space ninjutsu is really a tricky thing. At the same time, he was also a little excited. The ninjas in the village used masks that he couldn't do anything about, but he didn't expect Ryosuke to be able to severely injure the opponent. It seems that Ryosuke has really become stronger. Then he rushed towards Ryosuke's place. Ryosuke's face was also full of excitement at this moment. Although his blow did not kill Obito, his wish to kick Obito was fulfilled. Obito's vitality is so tenacious, he had already used all his strength in that blow just now. Otherwise, Obito would be the one who died if he was sucked into the Kamui space. But in fact, Obito's divine power is not as powerful as imagined. As long as you know the opponent's situation, when the opponent reaches out to grab Ryosuke, you can attack the opponent at the same time. However, if the opponent does not want to attack and remains in a virtual state, there is nothing Ryosuke can do against him. The best way to deal with such a guy is to stop time. Space is king, time is supreme, and time is above space. It seems that when the Mangekyo Sharingan is opened, it is related to the wish in one's heart. Uchiha Shisui wanted to stop the family's rebellion, so he awakened the most powerful genjutsu like the other gods. When Uchiha Sasuke opened his eyes, it happened to be the time when he learned the truth about Itachi's genocide. Sasuke, who felt aggrieved for his brother, was determined to change the world and change the rotten roots within Konoha village. Therefore, when he awakened his Sharingan skill, he awakened the Kagome earth life that can control the shape of flames, which corresponded to his psychological state of wanting to change the world. So if Ryosuke awakens the Mangekyo Sharingan and thinks about time as the master, will he also awaken time-related skills? The best skill may be to stop time. It's a pity that the other party didn't despise his Sharingan. Otherwise, maybe his Sharingan would be able to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. At this time, Uchiha Yashira came to his side, his face became more and more respectful. He could feel how tyrannical Ryosuke was now. We must draw the other party into their radical faction. No wonder the other party has such radical thoughts, they are hidden so deeply. With such strength, he may be even more powerful than the clan's #1 genius, Uchiha Shisui. Ryosuke may have discovered something after fighting the masked man just now. Ryosuke, did you find out the identity of that person just now? Ryosuke said directly. Have no idea. If Obito Uchiha's identity is made public, the Uchiha clan will be the first to bear the brunt. Uchiha Yashira looked regretful. He said slowly. This guy is the culprit of the Nine Tails Rebellion. It was he who framed our Uchiha clan. It's such a shame that he got away. However, I didn't expect you, Ryosuke, to be so hidden and so powerful. Join us, the radical faction of the Uchiha clan. Ryosuke asked rhetorically. Didn't you say last time that we had nothing to talk about? Yashira looked a little ugly. He did say that. Isn't this because I don't know your strength? What you said is too bold and needs to be considered in the long term. Ryosuke rolled his eyes at the other party when he heard this. In the long run, the conflict between Uchiha and the top management of Konoha will completely break out in the future. The image of the Uchiha clan in the eyes of Konoha's top brass cannot be easily changed. Conflict is bound to break out by then. This is only possible unless the Uchiha clan is willing to become the dog of Konoha's top brass, but even so, it is still impossible for Danzo, a senior leader, to let go of the Uchiha clan. What's more, Konoha's orthodoxy is in the Uchiha clan, and Konoha F4 is a complete waste, causing Konoha village's combat power to plummet. Ryosuke looked at Yashira and replied. Let's wait and see, as you said, think long term. Of course what he has to do now is to improve his strength. Now we just have the ability to deal with the danger of genocide. The fight with Obito just now was a bit thrilling. If he was strong enough, this wouldn't happen. Yashira said quickly. Certainly, the other party's statement was undoubtedly based on the family's side. It's better to take a long-term view. Although now he is very convinced of Ryosuke. But if Ryosuke were to prepare for a fight with Konoha's top management now, he would have a huge headache. By the way, it is necessary to report this matter to the clan leader. On the other side, the ANBU also discovered this and rushed to the Hokage's office to report the matter to the third Hokage. The third Hokage leaned back in his chair when he heard the news. The masked man fought with Ryosuke Uchiha. It seems that the Uchiha clan was really wronged, and they were not the masterminds of the Nine Tails Rebellion. It was Danzo who was in charge at the time, so he acquiesced. At that time, the Uchiha clan was becoming more and more powerful, with many geniuses emerging, and they even wanted to get involved in the position of Hokage. Forbidding the Uchiha clan to ascend to the position of Hokage was not only the advice of his teacher, the second Hokage, but also what the third Hokage did not want to see. The Uchiha clan has ascended to the position of Hokage, so where will he, the third Hokage, be put? He has no plans to retire. He also sighed deeply in his heart. Unexpectedly, such a powerful clan member would appear in the Uchiha clan. Still the same Ryosuke Uchiha. I dared to resist him, the Hokage, before. Now the two great geniuses of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, are both ANBU under their control, brainwashing with the will of fire. It went very smoothly, and I made a very tall impression among them. They will definitely listen to what you say. If only Uchiha Ryosuke could be brought to ANBU. He has the confidence to brainwash the other party. However, the other party is a bit unruly. But it's still worth a try. In the afternoon, Ryosuke went directly to the clan leader's house, and Fugaku happened to be at home. Fugaku was very happy to see Ryosuke arriving. Ryosuke, Yashira has already told me that you are very good. You were able to severely injure the masked man and help our Uchiha clan. I reported this matter to the third Hokage. This matter is enough to clear the suspicion of our Uchiha clan. He was very happy that his family had such a genius. He severely injured the masked man and restored the reputation of the Uchiha clan. Ryosuke couldn't help but frown. It seems that the Fugaku clan leader still doesn't understand the conflicts between the family and the top management of Konoha. To put it bluntly, the Nine Tails Rebellion was just an excuse for Konoha's top brass to suppress the Uchiha clan. He said slowly, "Clan leader, I'm afraid this is not good. If we tell this, I'm afraid the higher-ups in Konoha will once again suspect that our Uchiha clan has colluded with the masked man, and will take the opportunity to suppress our Uchiha clan again." Fugaku frowned. "That's impossible, they can't be that stupid. If we have collusion with the masked man, how can we take heavy action against the masked man?" Ryosuke couldn't help but say, "It is precisely because they know that they take the opportunity to suppress our Uchiha clan. After all, even if our clan moves to the suburbs, we are still the strongest clan in Konoha. It has threatened the rights of Konoha's top brass." Fugaku's excitement extinguished. As the leader of the clan, he didn't understand this kind of thing. "I just hope that the higher-ups can understand that the Uchiha clan is loyal to Konoha. The Nine Tails Rebellion destroyed the village, and the village also belonged to the Uchiha clan. Why did they do this?" He looked at Ryosuke and couldn't help but say, "You're smart, I'll reconsider this." "So why did you come to me?" Ryosuke said with a smile. "Of course I'm here to have a discussion with the clan leader." Fugaku was stunned for a moment when he heard this. In the past, he would definitely have dismissed it. What's there to discuss with a young man? The gap between the two sides is too big. But it's different now. "Ryosuke, if you can defeat the masked man, maybe even I won't be your opponent." Ryosuke explained, "Not necessarily. That masked man looks so invincible because he has special abilities." Fugaku couldn't help but ask, "What ability?" "This masked man escaped because of him. Now that he has obtained the information, he will have a way to deal with him in the future." Ryosuke then told Fugaku the information he knew and how to deal with it. His ability is to turn his body into a virtual form to avoid attacks, and he can also absorb others into a different space, but he must be materialized when absorbing. Just hit the opponent when he materializes. Fugaku was shocked when he heard this. The combination of reality and reality, this is space ninjutsu. How can it be so easy to deal with, just like the fourth Hokage Namikaze Nagato, who relied on the Flying Thunder God technique to dominate the ninja world? Being able to defeat the masked man further proves Ryosuke's strength. He is now a little curious about Ryosuke's strength. "Ryosuke, then let's have a good sparring session." "Good." Ryosuke agreed. Then the two came to the open space behind the tribe. There is no one around here, which is perfect for discussion. Uchiha Fugaku is still very confident in his own strength. Similarly, Ryosuke in front of him is undoubtedly a master. Only in real battle can you see the depth. Chapter 51. In the clearing, Uchiha Ryosuke opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan directly, and he was very excited. "Clan leader, then I will take the lead. Bring it on." Fugaku also opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan, let him see how strong the opponent is. Ryosuke saw that the opponent was ready and charged directly towards Fugaku. Launched a fierce attack. Fugaku stepped forward to greet him. The first collision made his expression change. So fast, so hard. I didn't expect Ryosuke's taijutsu to be so strong. It was really beyond his expectation. Even after fighting for several minutes, Fugaku felt that the opponent's momentum had not diminished at all, as if he was not tired. It wasn't going to work like this, so he found an opportunity and distanced himself directly. Then make a quick seal. Si Wei Shen Hai Wu Yin. At the same time, he refined chakra, his chest bulged, and he spit out a fireball as big as a small house and attacked Ryosuke. Ryosuke looked at the opponent's small house-like fireball. The tribe really likes the fire release ninjutsu. In fact, he also fell in love with this ninjutsu after using it once. The Go Fireball technique is indeed shocking and cool, very much in line with the style of the Uchiha clan. He also quickly formed seals, pulled chakra, and directly spit out a huge fireball similar in size to the opponent. The two powerful fireball techniques collided directly in the air, and the flames intertwined together, burning the ground black. Fugaku looked very surprised. Ryosuke had so much chakra. Otherwise, it would be impossible to release such a powerful fireball. The opponent's strength was undoubtedly recognized by him. Although he still had the genjutsu that he hadn't used yet, looking at the opponent's scarlet sharingan, he knew that his power was definitely not low. And Ryosuke is also satisfied at this moment. He can suppress strong men above the penumbra level with his body's physical skills alone. Even suppressing the strong ones above the shadow level. If you activate the 8-gate Dunjia strength, you will be able to defeat those with shadow level strength. He said with a smile. Chief, that's it for today. I'm going back first. Fugaku nodded, although he still had the Mangekyo Sharingan as his trump card that he didn't use yet. But I learned from Yashura that Ryosuke also has the trump card of 8-gate dungeon. The 8-gate dungeon is definitely a powerful forbidden technique worthy of the Mangekyo Sharingan. If both parties really want to fight each other, who is stronger? But Ryosuke is much younger than him now. The potential is much greater than him. The next day, Kakashi received an order from the third Hokage early to find Uchiha Ryosuke and invite him to become an ANBU. He himself was very confused about this order. How could someone like Ryosuke Uchiha be willing to join ANBU and become a subordinate of Lord Hokage? This person is not as obedient as Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi. Speak the truth. Last time Ryosuke rejected the third Hokage's decision to forbid him from contacting Naruto, which made Kakashi feel the arrogance of the Uchiha clan. In the village, the Hokage has the most power, and no ninja would be so direct and forceful. I'm afraid even Fugaku, the leader of the Uchiha clan, is not so tough. Not long after, Kakashi came to the small forest in the Uchiha clan's land. This is where Uchiha Ryosuke often practices. Feeling the movement in the forest, he easily found Ryosuke Uchiha running. Ryosuke naturally sensed someone coming and stopped training. Look in the direction of the person coming. It's Kakashi. What does this guy want to do with him? Asked. Why are you here again? This guy Kakashi probably wouldn't come looking for him. He should have come with orders from the third generation. It seems that he has shown his strength and has entered the sight of Konoha senior officials. You have to be careful from now on. Even in Konoha, these old Yinbi might attack him. Kakashi directly stated his intention. The third Hokage would like to invite you to join our ANBU. Ryosuke was stunned for a moment when he heard this. Are you acting innocent? Do you really think you can brainwash yourself into the kind of idiot who wants to destroy your own family? He refused directly. I reject. Kakashi's expression didn't change at all. The other party's decision was within his expectation. I will report this to the third Hokage. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, Ryosuke's voice came to his ears again. If this happens again, don't come to me. Kakashi paused when he heard these words. It seemed that this Uchiha tribesman really didn't take Naruto seriously at all. Doesn't this sentence mean that he will never join the Hokage's camp? Then he immediately rushed back to the Hokage building, came to the third Hokage's office, and reported the news to the third Hokage. And of course Ryosuke's words at the end. If this kind of thing happens in the future, don't come to him. When the third Hokage heard Kakashi's report, his face still pretended to be calm. In fact, I was extremely angry. I really didn't give him any face at all. Most ninjas in the village were honored to be members of the Hokage ANBU, but the Uchiha clan did not take his personal invitation seriously at all. What an evil Uchiha clan. It is not necessarily a good thing for such people to join, but they will not be as obedient as Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui. Regardless of this matter, there are more important things to do next. Recently, Konoha village and Kumogakur village are preparing to negotiate peace to end the war. The opponent's peace negotiation division should be ready to come, and the location of the peace negotiation was chosen in Konoha. This should be the reason why Union Village sincerely negotiated peace. He looked at Kakashi in front of him. Spread the news about the peace talks between Konoha village and Kumogakur village, and then prepare to receive the Kumogakur mission. Yes, the third Hokage. Kakashi responded and left. The third Hokage was leaning back comfortably on his chair at this time. After the war is over, a long period of time can begin again. On the other hand, Uchiha should not dare to cause trouble again. The credit for ending the war naturally goes to him. When the time comes, publicize his achievements in textbooks. Strengthen your own glorious image. Consolidate the position of Hokage. This made him think of Danzo. This guy was his good helper and his good opponent. But he has always been coveting his position as Hokage. It's a pity that he won't win over people. His image in the village is so bad, how can he threaten his position? The method is too radical. In Kumogakur village in the northern plateau, the fourth-generation Raikage with light yellow hair and strong body was gathering people for a meeting. Discuss matters regarding going to Konoha village to negotiate peace. The fourth Raikage sitting in the main position spoke. This time we have decided on Junin Dadoi and Junin Same. Dadoi is responsible for all affairs of the mission. This time you not only want to sign a peace agreement with Konoha, but your other purpose is to snatch back Hinata, the daughter of the Hyuga family clan. If it succeeds, we can use Hyuga Hinata as a mating tool to create another Hyuga clan in Kumogakur village. This is why the location of the peace talks was chosen in Konoha. Everyone present was a little loud and embarrassed. The Hyuga clan is a big clan in Konoha, aren't they provoking Konoha by doing this? Doesn't the Raikage-sama not want peace talks with Konoha? Samui, who had short light blonde hair, was a little surprised by Raikage's operation. Naturally, she has no objection to using Hinata as a production tool to recreate the clan. After all, this will greatly enhance the strength of Kumogakur village. In the Third Ninja War, the ninja team of Kumoin village was defeated in the battle against the Konoha ninja team who owned the Hyuga clan. Because the Hyuga family's Byakugan is so strong, they can observe information far away. As a result, their cloud-hidden village ninja team rarely found the Konoha village ninja team. However, the ninja team of Konoha village was able to use this advantage to sneak attack on the ninja team of Union village, even outnumbered. This was the biggest reason for their failure in the war against Konoha in cloud-hidden village. She couldn't help but speak. Lord Raikage, if you just do this, I'm afraid it will start another war, right? If Raikage's plan succeeds, it will naturally bring huge benefits to the village, but if it fails, it will also start a war again. This is something the current Union village cannot bear. Kumogakur village is not a very wealthy village to begin with, and is not as wealthy as Konoha village. If the Hidden Leaf village and the Hidden Cloud village fight again, both sides will suffer losses. At that time, even being attacked by the sworn enemy Iwagakure village is not impossible. In her eyes, it would be better not to implement such a plan. The Third Ninja War has been going on for so long and it's time to end. The fourth Raikage hummed. It doesn't matter, even if Konoha discovers it, does the third Hokage, that cowardly old man, still dare to start another war with our Hidden Cloud village? Konoha village won the war with Iwagakure village and signed an unequal treaty. Our Cloud Hidden village is stronger than their Iwagakure village. Konoha village will definitely not dare to fight us again. Messenger Dodoi said with a smile. The fourth Raikage is wise, I promise to complete the mission. After completing this task, he will be the biggest contributor to Union Village, and his status in Union Village will be unshakable. The fourth Raikage said happily. Of course I believe you. Your infiltration skills are among the best in Union Village. After kidnapping Hinata, Hurry to the border between the land of fire and the land of thunder. I will send someone to pick you up here. Waiting for you to come back and celebrate. Konoha village, afternoon time. Ryosuke Uchiha was walking on the streets of Konoha, preparing to find Metkai. Learn how to open the 5th gate of the 8-gate Dunjia. As long as the 5th door is opened, he is basically a boss-level character in the early stage, and he should be more than enough to deal with the Knight of Genocide. The reason why he can be so confident when he opens the 5th door is of course that his physical attributes are higher, even higher than those of Metkai 10 years later. Opening the 8 gates of Dunjia is not only related to the amount of chakra but also to physical strength. When he was searching in the woods of Konoha village, but he unexpectedly saw a few naughty children surrounding a girl who was younger than them. He frowned immediately. Isn't that Hinata? He remembered the original plot that this guy, as the next successor of the Hyuga clan, was always bullied by naughty kids. Sometimes in winter, sometimes in summer. Although a bit outrageous. But it should be Naruto's turn to come to the rescue at this time. But looking left and right, there was no trace of Naruto. I can't help but feel a little suspicious. Has he changed the direction of the story after traveling through time? Or maybe there was no such scene in the original plot. At this moment, those naughty kids pointed at Hinata's eyes and kept laughing. One of the naughty kids pointed at Hinata's eyes and said, "The Byakugan of your Hyuga family is so strange, they actually have white pupils." Another child said approvingly, "It's different from some of us. He has monster-like eyes." Hinata was a little timid at the moment and didn't know what to do. These people surrounded her and refused to let her leave, still taunting her eyes. Although her eyes are indeed different from those in the clan. One of the naughty kids even wanted to push Hinata down. Because he started to be a little afraid of the girl in front of him. He must be a monster with eyes like that. Ryosuke naturally saw this situation and said while walking over, "What are you guys doing?" The naughty kids stopped what they were doing and turned to look at the sound. But he saw an adult in a high-collared robe. Their expressions suddenly changed. He is from the Uchiha clan. Their parents had taught them that the Uchiha clan was a clan not to be messed with in the village. So they were ready to run away. But how could Ryosuke let these naughty kids off so easily? "If you want to run away, then I will go directly to your home and arrest you." Those naughty kids stopped immediately. If their parents knew that they had offended the Uchiha clan, they would definitely be miserable. By this time Ryosuke had already walked up to several people. "Quickly apologize to this little girl and make sure there is no next time, otherwise I will take you to jail." When several naughty children heard the words, "prison," they suddenly became frightened and spoke quickly. "I'm sorry, we promise it won't happen again." Ryosuke was a little dissatisfied. "Speak louder and be more sincere." A few naughty kids did so. Ryosuke was finally satisfied. It would have been kind enough not to put these guys in jail. "Get out." Several naughty kids ran away quickly. Hinata was also a little scared at the moment. Although this new guy drove away those annoying people, he was a bit fierce. Ryosuke looked at the little girl in front of him, becoming more and more satisfied. Small and cute, if not for knowing what the other person will look like when he grows up. I would never have thought that Hinata would become a busty girl in the future. What a very talented girl. In fact, as Ryosuke gets stronger every day and practices the 8-door dungeon every day, he feels that he needs the feminine water to nourish his body. Of course, there is also the growth of chakra. Ryosuke looked at the little girl in front of him kindly. "You should be the eldest lady of the Hyuga clan, why are you here alone?" Hinata suddenly felt even more aggrieved when she thought of what happened before, and her eyes became moist. Ryosuke said hurriedly when he saw this situation. "It's okay. If you have anything, you can talk to your brother. If this situation is not stopped, people may misunderstand that he has any evil intentions towards the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family." Hinata looked at the person in front of her. She didn't have the fierce attitude she had when dealing with those annoying guys just now. Instead, she was a little kind. "I couldn't help but tell everything about what happened before." Ryosuke understood. It turned out that during the competition between Hinata and her sister, she couldn't bear to hurt her sister and was accidentally knocked to the ground by her sister. Then he was scolded by his father. Something like, "waste." Ryosuke didn't know what to say when he heard this. In fact, Hinata as the eldest lady of the Hyuga clan. By doing this, the head of the Hyuga family was undoubtedly cultivating her as the heir to the family. Of course, there should be strict requirements for people who can cultivate family heirs. Otherwise, how could he be the leader of the family in the future? Of course, Ryosuke knew that Hinata's character was not suitable for being the heir of the family. But can he, Ryosuke, say that to others? Isn't this provoking the Hinata family? He, Ryosuke, is not so confused. Therefore, he could only say to Hinata, "That's great. As a sister, of course you should protect your sister." Hinata felt a little better after hearing Ryosuke's words. The eyes are not so dim anymore, but have a little light. Someone actually recognized her. Her father always called her a waste. Although she also understands why her father is so strict with her, understanding is one thing, and whether she can bear it in her heart is another. Ryosuke looked at Hinata and said, "I'll take you back now. Even in Konoha village, it's not very safe. The Hyuga clan's eyes can be robbed. What's more, there are so many naughty children in the village." Ryosuke didn't know how these people dared to bully the daughter of the Hyuga clan. Hinata nodded in agreement. "It's time to go back. I ran out secretly this time." Ryosuke was about to take Hinata to Hinata's house, but he suddenly understood and asked sheepishly, "You should know the way home, right?" "No," Hinata nodded. "That's good, let you lead the way, and I will protect your safety." Ryosuke was lucky that the other party knew the way, otherwise he would have had to find someone to ask about the location of the Hinata family land. In the Hyuga family, the head of the Hyuga family, Hyuga Hazu, received the report from his servant. "My own Hinata is missing." His expression changed instantly, and he felt very anxious. But he still forced himself to calm down. There is no use in panicking at this time. Could it be that he was kidnapped? The Hyuga clan is divided into clan members and branch clan members. Branch family members can also activate their Byakugan, but if they are placed under the caged bird curse seal, they cannot be robbed of their Byakugan. If the clan members do not have the caged bird curse seal, they can be robbed. There was once a clan member who had one of his eyes taken away. If Hinata was really kidnapped, that would be the worst case scenario. Of course, it's also possible that he sneaked out on his own. In either case, it should be treated at the highest level. Because the Hyuga clan's Byakugan can't let anything go wrong. He ordered the servant, "Send the order and immediately ask all the ninjas still in the family to go out and look for Hinata." Yes, the servant immediately went to inform the Hyuga clan ninjas in the family. In less than 2 minutes, Hinata led a group of people to rush out of the house, preparing to scatter in search of Hinata. But when they stepped out of the house, they saw an Uchiha man walking toward the family holding Hinata's hand. The tense heart was instantly relieved. Ryosuke naturally saw this formation too. I was surprised inside. He walked up to the other party and narrated everything that happened. Fortunately, the other party patiently listened to his story. Ryosuke doesn't want to cause a misunderstanding and conflict with the other party. Hinata Hiyashi listened patiently. Of course, he had no suspicion that it was someone from the Uchiha clan who did it. Because the blood inheritance limit possessed by the other party is no worse than that of the Hyuga clan. But he didn't expect that the Uchiha clan would send his daughter back. Although the two clans usually do not have much communication, even the current Uchiha clan has a bad reputation in Konoha. But the other party kindly drove away those naughty children and sent his daughter back. Naturally, he thanked him well and could not throw away the etiquette of the clan. "Thank you for sending my daughter back. Come in and I'll make a pot of good tea for you." "No need for this." Ryosuke waved his hand and left immediately. He had nothing to talk about with the Hyuga clan, so he might as well go to Metkai to learn the 5th gate of the 8th dungeon. Naturally, Hinata and Hinashi were not forced to stay. The Uchiha clan was now feared by the higher-ups in Konoha. Logically speaking, a clan leader like him should even avoid contact with the Uchiha clan to avoid arousing the suspicion of Konoha's higher-ups. But when the other party saves his daughter, he must not lose his etiquette, otherwise, he will lose the courage of his family. After Ryosuke left, Hinata probably waved all the ninjas in the family to disperse. Then he looked at his daughter Hinata. The anger in his heart rose again. But seeing that little head lowered with a worried look on his face, the anger in his heart dropped a lot. As a father, Hinata has been a gentle and a bit cowardly person since he was a child. But as his eldest daughter, she is bound to inherit the reputation of the Hyuga clan. This kind of character needs to be changed. It seems that we can only educate slowly. On the other side, Ryosuke found Metkai in the woods where the two often trained together. Metkai was practicing driving the wooden stakes alone, punching the wooden stakes one after another. It seems that Metkai's strength has also increased. Metkai sensed something, that is, he felt someone behind him. He turned around and saw that it was his best friend Ryosuke Uchiha. My heart suddenly felt happy. Ryosuke hasn't come to him for discussion for a long time, maybe because he dislikes his low strength. However, before that, he had to tell the other party some good news. Ryosuke, the village is preparing to negotiate peace with Kumogakur village recently. Do you know the news? Ryosuke has never heard of it, after all, he has never even participated in the guards. However, he did know that Cloud Hidden Village was not only here to negotiate peace, but also to steal Hinata's eyes. Thinking of Union Village, remember that his father died in the hands of Union Village. Just get some interest back. Metkai couldn't help but wonder when he saw Ryosuke like this. Ryosuke, what's wrong with you? Aren't you happy to hear this news? How come? Ryosuke laughed. I'm just a little confused as to why the peace negotiation location was chosen in Konoha village instead of at the border of Fire Country. Metkai pondered Ryosuke's question. He couldn't think clearly about such a problem. When Ryosuke saw Metkai like this, he knew that he was not a conspirator. Forget it, don't worry about it. Kai, I'm here to learn how to open the 5th gate of the 8-gate Dunjia. Metkai was stunned when he heard this. Ryosuke, did you say you were going to learn the 5th gate? Yes, I am already very proficient in the first 4 doors. Ryosuke responded. In fact, the difficulty of practicing 8-door Dunjia is mainly focused on opening the door. After gradually getting used to the pain, it no longer hurts. It's similar to a woman's first time. After it is turned on, it becomes a matter of the body's endurance. There is no problem in opening the 8-gate Dunjia for a long time with a strong body. Metkai couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. If you really want to learn how to open the 5th door, wouldn't you have already reached the same level as him? It took him 10 years to practice to the extent of opening the 5 gates, and Ryosuke caught up with him in more than 3 months. Although it was expected that Ryosuke would practice very quickly. But this speed is too fast. It was so fast that he couldn't believe it. Metkai decided to leave it to Ryosuke to open the 5th door. As usual, he demonstrated once, and then Ryosuke opened the sharingan and copied his method directly, and then made some small adjustments. After all, everyone's meridians and chakra limiters are slightly different. When he saw the pair of 3 Magatama sharingan eyes, Metkai couldn't help but sigh in his heart at the opponent's talent. Just relying on those 3 Magatama sharingan eyes is enough to become a powerful ninja. Ryosuke should be a true genius among the Uchiha clan. Plus, after using the sharingan to reproduce Metkai's method of opening the 5th door. Immediately open the first 4 gates of the 8 gates of Dunjia, and then control the chakra to attack the 5th gate. The familiar pain came to him immediately. Not only was it painful, it even gave Ryosuke a little irritation. He couldn't help but call out. Readily. Then he stopped practicing. He just wanted to experience opening the 5th door. What's more, now he has entered the sight of Konoha's top brass. Not only did he reject the Hokage's invitation to become an ANBU, he even approached Naruto. Konoha Hokage and Nabe Shadow are both likely to attack him. As for practicing the 5th gate of the 8 gates Dunjia, although he is indeed not afraid of that kind of thing. But this does not mean that he will be safe and sound. Anything that happens during cultivation is possible, and he may even become comatose. Then the eyeball may not be saved. Metkai on the side was a little stunned. He remembered the nerve-shredding feeling when he opened the 5th door for the first time. It's still fresh in my memory. And now Ryosuke actually feels good about this pain. There is really no comparison between people. Maybe this is the reason why the other party can quickly cultivate into the 8-gate Dunjia. And Ryosuke now wants to go back and practice again, at home. Kai, I'll go back first. Then he reincarnated and left. Metkai hesitated for a second before speaking out. Ryosuke, do you want to challenge me? I don't know if the current Ryosuke thinks his level is too low. I no longer consult with him like before. Ryosuke, who was about to turn around, stopped. He looked at Kai with a smile. Sure, he is still very interested in the current discussion between the two. Decisively opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan. Then he rushed towards Metkai and kicked out with a sudden kick. Kai didn't expect Ryosuke to take action so quickly, and his strength has improved a lot compared to before. This move that attacks him is too familiar, the Konoha whirlwind kick. He also raised his leg and kicked out, colliding with Ryosuke. Immediately, I felt Ryosuke's strength, and the opponent's thigh was as heavy as a solid log. His expression began to change with all his strength. The body has become so strong. After being shocked, he found that Ryosuke put his hands on the ground and directly performed a double kick. He also wanted to keep up, but his speed was a bit slower after all. Instead of blocking the opponent's attack, Ryosuke kicked him first. The figure immediately flew out. He fell heavily to the ground. Although Ryosuke didn't use his full strength in this move, he didn't hold back too much. Otherwise, the discussion is meaningless. Metkai, who fell to the ground, endured the pain in his body and climbed up again. Ryosuke has become really strong, but he won't give in so easily. Just like when he first entered the ninja school, not only did he have no talent for ninjutsu, but he was even inferior to Kakashi in physical skills. But he still managed to catch up with Kakashi through his own efforts. He believed that with hard work he could catch up to Ryosuke Uchiha. Then he suddenly rushed towards Ryosuke and punched him in the chest. However, Ryosuke caught it firmly with one hand. Metkai then threw out his left fist, which was firmly caught by Ryosuke. At this time, Metkai felt the gap between the two sides. Both of his attacks were ineffective. Then he kicked again, but Ryosuke took the lead and kicked him away. Metkai fell to the ground and immediately aroused a strong desire to win. It makes sense to beat someone who is better than yourself. In the ensuing battle, Ryosuke knocked Metkai away numerous times. Although his own strength has improved a lot, Metkai has also improved a bit, but not as much as him. The other party is really tenacious. If the fight continues, Metek will really be damaged. Can't help but say, Kai, that's it for now. Lying on the ground, Metkai also understood that even he still had the strength to get up. But if the fight continues, the damage will be severe. Unexpectedly, just a few months later, Ryosuke has become so strong. Maybe he won't even get a chance to catch up with Ryosuke again. As he improves, Ryosuke will continue to improve at such a rapid rate. The gap will only grow wider. It may even be that Ryosuke is the strongest taijutsu ever. However, he did not lose heart and was only happy that Ryosuke was strong. You can progress faster by sparring with such a powerful person. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but ask, Ryosuke, you won't mind me sparring with you in the future? Ryosuke on the side was a little stunned when he heard what Metkai said. Then he said with a smile, why would you dislike it? Not to mention that the opponent helped him improve a lot of physical attributes in the early stage. Even now that his strength has improved, Metkai is still a worthy target for training. The enhancement of physical attributes does not mean that everything will be fine. Ryosuke must also control this power well and adapt to the use of it skillfully. Metkai felt happy. It was really great that Ryosuke didn't mind. Ryosuke looked at Metkai on the ground. That's the end of today's discussion. I'm going back first. Good. Metkai, who was lying on the ground, responded. Let's go to Ryosuke to spar another day. For now, let your body rest for a while. In the previous sparring session, although Ryosuke didn't hit his vital point, the force of his attack was not light at all. After Ryosuke separated from Metkai, he quickly returned to his Uchiha clan's house. Immediately began to practice opening the 5th gate of the 8 gates Dunjia. Although I had a real discussion with Kai, but it only reduced his physical strength a little bit. It will not affect his subsequent practice at all. After skillfully opening the first 4 doors, several exploding veins appeared on his head, and his skin tone became dark. A strong aura erupted from his body, but it did not destroy the house. The next step is to control the chakra and rush towards the 5th gate Kujman below the spine. The pain struck immediately. The body is not an ordinary pain. Cold sweat broke out on Ryosuke's forehead. It still hurts as always. However, now he just feels pain, and he has long been used to this pain. There is no longer any danger of fainting. An hour of trying to open the door had made him accustomed to the pain, and he even had a vague feeling that he could open the scenery door. At the same time, his endurance limit has been reached. I am not in a hurry to continue practicing. Instead, he simply took a shower. After squinting my eyes for more than an hour, it was already evening. At this moment, his body has almost recovered, and the physical and mental pain has almost disappeared. As his physical attributes improve, his physical recovery power also continues to increase. In fact, he can continue practicing now, but he still has an appointment tonight. So I simply ate a little food and walked out. He skillfully arrived at Hong's house and wandered down the street with Hong. During this period of time, the two also found a remote street with fewer pedestrians. Ryosuke came over early with Red. After a hard day's training, savoring the taste of beauty makes your body and mind happy. As soon as he sat down, Ryosuke's right hand holding Yuhi Kurenai moved from his waist to the twin peaks. Maybe it was because they had been gentle for a long time. Before, the two of them would find a hotel to spend the night when they reached the last step. Now it feels like Yuhi Kurenai has expanded a lot. It was soft and slightly swollen, which made Ryosuke enjoy it immediately. Kurenai Yuhi looked at Ryosuke with a blush on her face. Are these two lumps of flesh really so fun? She had obviously rubbed it herself, but she didn't feel it at all. But Ryosuke's hard-on was quite fun. It stayed warm for a while. Ryosuke suggested, Hong, why don't we get a room? Hong's mother should be at home now, so she might as well open a room and feel more at ease. Kurenai looked a little hesitant, although she wanted to have a good night with Ryosuke. But I feel like I've been vomiting a little recently. Isn't this a sign that a girl is pregnant? Ryosuke felt very strange when he saw Kurenai like this. He had already taken possession of all the reds. Moreover, the other party seemed to be enjoying it very much, so there was no reason to reject him. Couldn't help but ask, Red, what's wrong with you? Yuhi Hong hesitated for a moment and then said, Ryosuke, I might be pregnant. I've been feeling vomiting lately. As he spoke, he suddenly felt like vomiting, and he bent over and retched several times. Ryosuke was a little stunned. Pregnant. Immediately, he felt ecstatic. He had not wasted so many times of hard work on sewing. It seemed to be a success. Then he bent down and quickly touched Hong's back, trying to make her feel better. Not long after, Kurenai felt better and looked at Ryosuke with her beautiful red eyes. After having love with this guy so many times, I still got pregnant. Now she didn't know what to do and could only look at Ryosuke. What should I do now? Should we abort the child? She herself never thought about having a child at such a young age. Ryosuke looks a little younger than him, so he probably wouldn't want it. The only thing to blame is that they all just cared about having fun and didn't think about the consequences. When Ryosuke heard this, he immediately became anxious. Regardless of having children, you will be rewarded by the system. In his eyes, this is his child, a living life. How could he agree to give up such an idea? He said with a serious face. Hong, don't ever have such dangerous thoughts again. Don't worry about giving birth. I will be responsible for raising you. This is his child, and he is half Uchiha. Kurenai felt a lot more at ease after hearing Ryosuke's words. I'm afraid Ryosuke is the kind of person who just pulls up his pants and runs. Fortunately Ryosuke is not that kind of person, she said with a smile. Then let's give birth to this child. Although she was still very young, this was her first time doing something like this. But this child is naturally her own flesh and blood, and she certainly doesn't want to abort it. Now that she has Ryosuke's idea, she insists on her idea even more. Ryosuke smiled and nodded. Just be born. I just feel that he should also make good money. Although he is not worried about money now, once the child is born, he will spend more money. It seems that he also has to think of some ways to make money. Hong also said at this time, Ryosuke, let's give birth to this child in secret. After all, if Asuma knew about this, he would definitely go on a rampage. Not only did she follow another man, but she even had a child. Fine, Ryosuke agreed. As long as he didn't abort the child, he could agree to Hong's request. It seems that there is no need to book a room tonight. You cannot have intercourse when you are pregnant. The next day, Ryosuke got up early. Hong was pregnant, so of course there was no love. It feels like a heat is surging through my body now. As physical attributes increase, demand will also become extremely strong. It seems that I can only find another woman. Unfortunately, there is no suitable target yet. The only way to get rid of this heat is through morning exercises. When I came to the grove next to the tribe, I wanted to start training and improve my physical attributes. After running around the woods for more than 10 minutes, a figure appeared in front of Ryosuke. The person who came was none other than Uchiha Inari, but he looked a little haggard now. Ryosuke saw the other party waving to him and had to stop. Is there a problem? Dao Huo asked sheepishly. Ryosuke, is there any secret to practicing 8-door dunjia? I've been practicing for several days, but I haven't even opened a single door. He really practiced very hard and fainted from the pain several times. There is no slacking off in cultivation. Ryosuke rolled his eyes at him. Is the 8-gate dunjia so easy to practice? Why haven't I cultivated to the point of opening the 5 doors in 3 months? The secret of practicing 8-door dunjia is not to be afraid of pain or tiredness. If you persevere, you will always make progress. Do you understand? Inari certainly understood what Ryosuke meant. What he means is that there will always be progress if you practice hard. But Ryosuke was able to cultivate to the 4th level so quickly, and Inahuo wanted to know the shortcut. He couldn't help but say, Ryosuke, I want to ask you if there are any shortcuts that can help me speed up my training. Shortcut. Ryosuke glanced at the other party and knew that the other party saw his training speed and thought there was some shortcut. If there is a shortcut, it would be physical strength and resilience, but this is all I have. But we can't just revert to rice fire. Can only be said. There are still shortcuts. That is to continuously refine chakra and impact the chakra limiter. Just doing this is risky, ranging from fainting to severe brain trauma. When Dao Huo heard this, his expression changed a little. Is this what Ryosuke said? It seems that he has already experienced the side effect of fainting. If it's a brain trauma, it's best not to have it. He has decided to slow down the process of practicing 8-gate dunjia. After all, although Ryosuke told him the shortcut method, he felt there was no need to try it. At the same time, he admired Ryosuke even more. Ryosuke used this method to increase his strength so quickly. He will definitely become the new leader of their radical faction in the future. Although the current Yashara is also very good, the strongest will take over. Moreover, Ryosuke is already so strong with just physical skills now. If he learns some family illusion skills, he will undoubtedly be even stronger. Ryosuke's pupil power is ahead of him, so the genjutsu he can activate with his sharingan is naturally more powerful than his. Even comparable to Uchiha Shisui is possible. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but say, Ryosuke, your current taijutsu is actually strong enough. If you learn the family's sharingan genjutsu again, you will only become stronger in the future. Like the family geniuses Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui, illusions are their specialty. Ryosuke became thoughtful after hearing this. Now his physical skills can be said to be very strong. Even the family patriarch Uchiha Fugaku can be suppressed, but his physical skills have obvious weaknesses. That means close combat. Of course he has long-range attacks, such as the fire-release fireball technique, but as for this technique, it is actually very difficult to hit anyone even if he uses it. Powerful, but slow. Illusion is different. As long as the pupil power is strong enough and the eyes look at each other, the enemy will be able to fall under the illusion. No effort at all. Maybe it's really time to learn illusions. This is also an ability that a master should have. He looked at the rice fire. You were right, then I really should learn the magic of illusion. Dao Huo also felt happy when he heard this. The increase in Ryosuke's strength means that the strength of their radical faction has increased. From now on, it will be possible to revitalize the glory of the Uchiha clan. Ryosuke, I'll go back first. Unlike Ryosuke, he doesn't have to go to work. Ryosuke nodded. Although I know that I should practice illusion, I still need an illusion scroll. However, there is no need to worry about this. His grandfather is the great elder of the Uchiha clan. How could the Uchiha clan not have any secret techniques? No need to worry. What is more important now is to train well and improve your physical attributes. The time came in the afternoon. Ryosuke naturally found his grandfather directly. Although Grandpa is highly respected among the Uchiha clan, he basically doesn't care about anything anymore. His grandfather smiled and looked at his grandson. What do you want from me? I have taken note of the changes my grandson has undergone in recent days. At first, I was worried that Ryosuke's strenuous training in Metkai would cause physical damage, but it didn't happen, so I was naturally relieved. Seeing my grandson getting stronger and stronger makes me even happier. This may be the result of practicing with Metkai. He still has to be grateful to Metkai. Ryosuke directly stated his purpose. Grandpa, I want to learn the family's sharingan eye technique. You should be able to do it. Grandpa suddenly frowned. Of course he knew the genjutsu of the Uchiha clan. It's just that the sharingan genjutsu in the family cannot be learned by having the sharingan. It is best to have 3 magatama or above, and the eye power must be strong enough. He said helplessly. Ryosuke, there is actually no need for you to learn sharingan genjutsu. You only have 1 magatama. Even if you learn it, it's not powerful enough. It's equivalent to none. Ryosuke heard his grandfather's words and immediately activated the 3 magatama sharingan. His eyes turned red, and 3 magatama appeared in the pupils. Grandpa was stunned when he saw these eyes. His grandson actually opened the 3 magatama sharingan. This is impossible no matter how you look at it. I couldn't help but rub my eyes, maybe I had presbyopia. But when I opened it I could see more clearly. Ryosuke's sharingan eyes were a little too red. This is obviously a sign of extremely strong pupil power. No wonder his grandson wants to learn sharingan genjutsu. With such a strong pupil power, if you don't study the family genjutsu, such a good sharingan will be wasted. He said with a hint of joy on his face. Okay. I'll find the illusion scroll for you right now. Soon after, Grandpa returned to the hall of the house, holding a pile of illusion scrolls in his hands. Here you go, all the Uchiha clan's genjutsu are here. Ryosuke carefully opened the scroll and examined the genjutsu inside. See what awesome illusions the family has. Ryosuke spent some time reading these genjutsu scrolls and sifting out the genjutsu that suited him. One is the genjutsu Shiranui, a visual genjutsu activated by the sharingan. The opponent will feel the pain of his body being burned by flames in the illusion. The second genjutsu sharingan, the genjutsu activated by the sharingan, is more effective than ordinary genjutsu and can even control tailed beasts. The third one is the magic shackle technique, an illusion performed through the unique visual illusion of the sharingan. The enemy captured by the spiritual world constructed by the caster will feel that the body is nailed by huge iron nails and cannot move freely, and will also suffer the illusion of pain, so it is generally used for torture. This technique is very good. I remember that in the original work, Uchiha Itachi relied on this move to instantly kill Orochimaru who wanted to capture Uchiha Itachi's sharingan. I don't know how my eye power compares to Itachi's now. The grandfather who was waiting patiently on the side saw that his grandson had already selected the illusion scroll. He came over to take a look and was a little surprised. Fortunately, the first genjutsu, Shiranui, can basically be learned by the 3 Magatama Sharingan clan members. Secondly, the control power is also different depending on the person who uses it. The powerful can even control the tailed beast. The third practice is a bit more difficult. There are not many in the Uchiha clan who know how to do it. He is still very confident in Ryosuke, you can tell by looking at the Scarlet Sharingan. The scarier the color, the stronger the pupil power. At this time, Ryosuke spoke. Grandpa, can this genjutsu Sharingan really control tailed beasts? During the Nine Tails Rebellion, Obito had controlled the Nine Tails, and even the Sharingan appeared in the Nine Tails' eyes. If this technique can really control tailed beasts, then he really needs to learn it hard. Grandpa heard his words and replied helplessly. It's possible to succeed, but the pupil power required is too strong. At least the pupil power at the level of the 3 Magatama Sharingan is not likely to be that powerful. So the nine-tailed demon fox in the Nine Tails Rebellion was 100% impossible to be controlled by our clan. To control the nine-tailed demon fox, the eye power required is probably huge. Ryosuke got a little excited after hearing what his grandfather said. This confirms from the side that the sharingan can really control tailed beasts. Even if it is not the sharingan, the pupil power of the Mangekyo sharingan should be able to control the tailed beasts. Especially Obito, a madman who awakened the powerful Mangekyo sharingan. His mental state is estimated to have reached the level of destroying the world. Otherwise, even his master and his mother would not have hesitated to kill him. His eye power is probably rare in the history of the Uchiha clan. It seems that I really need to learn this illusion. Then Ryosuke pointed to the 3 genjutsu on the ground and asked his grandfather. Grandpa, you should be able to do these 3 illusions, right? Grandpa nodded. Yes, I know all 3 of these. When I was young, I was also an elite member of the Uchiha clan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have become a great elder. Ryosuke suddenly became happy. Wait until I see the specific instructions for these 3 illusions. Please ask Grandpa to demonstrate it, so I can use the sharingan to make a good copy. Grandpa was speechless when he heard Ryosuke's words. Ever since that Kakashi obtained the sharingan from his tribe and became famous in the ninja world, everyone in the world thinks that the eyes of the tribe can copy other people's ninjutsu. He said helplessly, it is true that the sharingan has powerful insight and can observe other people's seals and chakra flow. General ninjutsu can be copied according to the model. But illusions don't work. Perhaps chakra flow can be copied, but Uchiha sharingan illusion mainly relies on eye power and mental power. These 2 are the factors that determine the power of sharingan genjutsu. Upon hearing this, Ryosuke secretly expressed that there was no pressure at all. His sharingan is not only at the level of 3 Magatama, but its own pupil power is very powerful. It has also been blessed by the system. Now the scarlet color means that the pupil power is strong. As for the mental aspect, the pleasure of being with red improves his chakra, which naturally also improves his mental strength. There is no need to have a mental surge like Uchiha Obito did when his girlfriend died, or Uchiha Itachi died when his best friend did. He said with a smile. Grandpa, show me how to do it now. His grandfather was a little helpless and could only give Ryosuke a good demonstration. His eyes turned red, and 3 Magatama appeared directly in his pupils. It is the 3 Magatama sharingan. Ryosuke is not surprised at all. Grandpa can be the elder of the Uchiha clan, but it is necessary to activate the 3 Magatama. It's just that Grandpa's eyes are dark red, which means that his strength is no longer at its peak. Grandpa showed Ryosuke how to cast 3 genjutsu in turn. In fact, it is just a matter of refining chakra to the eyes, releasing the genjutsu chakra from the eye chakra points through the opponent's 5 senses, entering the opponent's brain nervous system, and controlling the chakra of the opponent's brain nervous system. The difficulty is naturally to control the chakra to gather the chakra through the small meridian system and reach the eyeballs, and only then can the illusion chakra be emitted. The meridian system at the eyes is very small and fragile. It is really very dangerous for a guy without control to perform such an operation. However, he finally had experience in manipulating chakra to impact the chakra limiter. He has gained a certain level of proficiency in controlling the movement of chakra through his meridians. Just be careful when practicing eye skills. Although his body has strong recovery power, who knows if the small meridians in his eyes are damaged, whether they can be repaired. It's better to be more cautious. Grandpa asked from the side. Ryosuke, did you use your sharingan to observe how to perform the 3 genjutsu? Ryosuke nodded. Already copied. Let me try it next. Immediately, bits and pieces of chakra were refined and gathered into his eyes through small meridians. Both eyes became brighter red. What he is releasing now is the genjutsu Shiranui, which is the simplest of the 3 genjutsus. When the chakra is condensed to a certain level, Ryosuke begins the final step, which is to shoot the genjutsu chakra. There is no object to try here, so we can only try to launch it anywhere. The grandfather on the side opened his eyes wide when he saw this situation. He could tell that Ryosuke was very cautious and only used a small amount of chakra release genjutsu. But there is no doubt that the illusion has been successfully released. The disadvantage is that it starts slowly. But this is just a beginner, it is already amazing to be able to release it successfully in one go. It seems that his grandson is still very talented in illusion. Next, As long as you practice more and increase your speed, you will be able to master this genjutsu Shiranui proficiently. Of course, if you want the illusion to be powerful, you have to input more chakra into your eyes. It depends on each person's talent. Ryosuke's is a 3 Magatama sharingan, which has very high power and can naturally withstand more chakra. There is no need to worry about this. It seems that another strong man of sharingan genjutsu is preparing to appear in the family. He felt very relieved. After several hours of training, Ryosuke basically mastered the 3 genjutsu techniques. To be honest, with his current foundation, it is really not difficult to learn these 3 illusions. As long as you practice and practice regularly, you will be able to master it. His grandfather was more surprised than happy when he saw Ryosuke mastering 3 genjutsu so quickly. Even the most difficult magic shackle technique has been learned. My grandson is so talented in illusions. Maybe it was after he fainted that he suddenly awakened his talent and turned on his brain limiter. As a grandfather, he naturally hopes that Ryosuke will grow up as soon as possible. Although he doesn't care about anything now, it's impossible that he doesn't know about the situation in the family. The current situation of the Uchiha clan is not good. It can be said that the top management of Konoha is pressing harder and harder. The tribesmen are also becoming more and more dissatisfied. As for whether the two parties can reconcile in the end, he feels that there is little hope. Because Danzo, one of the top leaders of Konoha, was deeply dissatisfied with the Uchiha clan, it was this person who strongly requested the Uchiha clan to relocate. This is actually suppression. If the Nine Tails Rebellion was started by the Uchiha clan, what difference does it make between the center of the village and the edge of the village? With this person here, the possibility of reconciliation between the Uchiha clan and the top management of Konoha is very low. Ryosuke asked his grandfather before leaving, "Grandpa, shouldn't there be more powerful illusions in the family?" An illusion like Izanagi's that could change the established reality was not found in the pile of illusion scrolls. Not even Izanami is there. These two are the ceiling of Sharingan Genjutsu level. If Grandpa doesn't have it here, then it can only be found at Chief Fugaku's place. His grandfather was stunned when he heard Ryosuke's words. Unexpectedly, Ryosuke actually knew that there was a more powerful genjutsu in the family. He said helplessly, "It does exist, but it was lost and was taken out of the village by the former clan leader, Madara Uchiha." Ryosuke understood after hearing this. That's a shame. In fact, it wasn't that pity in his heart. You must know that these two super powerful Sharingan illusions can cause blindness if activated. Of course there are ways to deal with this shortcoming. That is to transplant someone else's Sharingan, which is what Uchiha Obito and Shimura Danzo did in the original plot. It's just that Ryosuke feels that transplanting someone else's Sharingan into himself is a bit disgusting. As long as you become strong enough, you don't need to learn these two illusions. He looked at his grandfather. Then I'll go back to my room first. Go back and practice the 5th gate of the 8-gate Dunjia. Grandpa nodded. There is no doubt that Ryosuke has mastered the 3 genjutsus, and he can only rely on himself for further training. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. The Union Village Council and envoys have arrived near Konoha Village. This time, Dodoi and the golden-haired Sumui naturally led the team, and there were only 4 ninjas following them. After all, the most important thing this time is not to negotiate a peace, but to capture Hinata, the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan in Konoha village, to breed them and create another Hyuga clan belonging to their hidden cloud village. So after kidnapping Hinata, it was time for them to retreat. It is easier to retreat with fewer people. What surprised a few people was that when they were about to reach Konoha village, they could see an old man wearing Hokage robes and a group of ninjas in green vests from Konoha village waiting for them from a distance. There was also a banner posted outside the gate of Konoha village that welcomed the arrival of the envoy from Kumogakur village. Dodoi couldn't help but have a smile on his face. As the 4th Raikage-sama said, the 3rd Hokage is really weak and incompetent and has no domineering power at all. Those who don't know think that our relationship between Cloud Hidden Village and Konoha Village is very good. If it weren't for the purpose of seizing Hinata to complete the accompanying breeding plan, the negotiation location would definitely be in Hidden Cloud Village. This group of Konoha ninjas would have to be given a big show of strength. Sammy agreed very much with Dodoi's words. A large number of ninjas in Union Village died in this war. The fight can no longer go on and we need to negotiate a peace. Even with the fourth Hokage's violent temper, he would not give the other party any friendly attitude. However, the performance of Konoha village shows that they are already immersed in the joy of peace. Then this plan is likely to be successful. Wait until they reach the gate of Konoha. The third Hokage saw the attire of these people and already knew that they were the ninjas of Kumogakur village. Of course they are here to negotiate peace, he said with a smile. Welcome everyone, the ceremony for signing the peace agreement will be held the day after tomorrow. You can take a good look around Konoha village during this time. In the eyes of the third Hokage, Konoha village is much more prosperous than Kumogakur village. Union village is located on the plateau in the north, and this is a plain. Let the other party see the strength of Konoha village so that nothing will happen when the peace agreement is signed. Dudui changed his previous disdainful look and instead said very respectfully. Hokage-sama said yes, then we will just wait for the day after tomorrow. Of course, this is a rare opportunity to come to Konoha village. We will seize this opportunity to have a good look around. The third Hokage was very satisfied with the other party's attitude and looked at Kakashi aside and said, Kakashi, please take these people to the luxury hotel prepared in advance to settle down. Yes, Hokage-sama, Kakashi responded. Dodui said at this time. Then thank you Hokage-sama for the arrangement. The third Hokage felt more and more the other party's kind attitude. It seems that he was frightened after being beaten in the war. Then Kakashi took the Kumoin village envoy team to the hotel that had been arranged and stayed there. Then he returned to the Hokage building in Konoha village to return to the third Hokage. As soon as Kakashi left, Dodui's expression changed instantly, and a hint of ridicule appeared on the corner of his mouth. They are really weak Konoha people, not at all as strong as they were during the second Hokage period. In the hotel, Sami suggested, since Lord Hokage invited us to take a look around Konoha village, why don't we go for a walk now? I'm so familiar with the layout of Konoha. This is their first time coming to Konoha village. Although they already have the layout map of Konoha village and the target location of the Hyuga clan, for the sake of caution, they should still observe it on the spot. Good, Dudui agreed. After all, he was the main force this time. You should still be cautious, as the consequences of failure are also very terrible. Even if the cowardly Konoha village did not kill him, it would put the other purpose of the peace talks into an unfavorable situation. On the other side, Kakashi came to the Hokage building to return to the third Hokage. Hokage-sama, everything has been settled. The third Hokage said with a smile on his face. Kakashi, you did a good job. Now just wait until the day after tomorrow to complete the signing of the peace agreement. Then the foreign war would be over. The war really consumed too much of Konoha's strength, and there was also the unstable bomb of the Uchiha clan in the village. Ending the war would be so beneficial to the village. At this time, Kakashi looked at the third Hokage and made suggestions. Hokage-sama, should we send ANBU to monitor the Kumoin village envoys? After all, they were from outside the village, and Kakashi was worried about what conspiracy they might make. The third Hokage suppressed his smile and looked at Kakashi. It's not necessary. I think they came to negotiate peace with sincerity. If we send people to monitor them, it would be disrespectful to them, and it would be detrimental to peace negotiations. Besides, this is the base camp of Konoha village. They can't make waves. If they were wise, they wouldn't do anything outrageous. Kakashi said nothing after hearing this. Indeed, this is the headquarters of Konoha village. There are countless powerful ninjas, so the other party should not be so irrational. And although the two people who came this time felt that their strength was okay, they didn't feel that explosive. Even if he wanted to cause trouble, he probably wouldn't send such a weak person here. On the other side, in order not to make the people of Konoha village suspicious, Samui and Dodoi took a special bath and put on clean kimonos before wandering around the streets of Konoha. He did not go to the Hyuga clan to investigate from the beginning. The two saw that the bustling streets of Konoha village were indeed much more prosperous than Kumogakur village. However, perhaps it was this prosperity that made the other party relax their vigilance. After wandering around for a while, they began to walk towards the surroundings of the Hyuga clan intentionally or unintentionally. Just check your surroundings from a distance and plan your infiltration route and escape route. But when they were walking around the Hinata clan area, they saw an Uchiha clan member. The other party's Uonfin clan emblem is famous in the ninja world. Seeing this person in the Hyuga clan's territory made them a little worried. At the same time, there is also a little desire in my heart. The sharingan of the Uchiha clan is also an extremely powerful eye. There may be no more strategic value on the battlefield than the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan. After all, the observation distance is not as good as white eyes. But the sharingan can greatly enhance personal strength. Just like the clone ninja Kakashi who welcomed them into the hotel. Being able to copy ninjutsu is a very bug-level ability. However, their purpose this time did not include obtaining the eyes of the Uchiha clan. Then they continued to wander around pretending as if nothing had happened. Ryosuke naturally noticed these two people, although he had not seen the leader of the Kumogakur village envoy. But Samyi was unmistakable, with blonde hair, white skin, and two women from the earth-exploding sky star. The courage is even higher than that of Tsunade. It seems that she is a very suitable woman for giving birth. And according to the development of the original plot, these two people should be stepping in now, which means that the following plot will not change. But he didn't intend to stop the other party. He even had to let Hinata and Hinata kill the leader of the envoys of Union Village according to the original plot. Only in this way can the third Hokage sacrifice Hyuga Hazashi, arousing the hatred of the Hyuga family. It was obviously the envoy from Kumoin village who came to kidnap Hinata, but was killed. Instead, the Hyuga family members came out to accompany him. It is strange that the proud Hinata Hinashi has no resentment in his heart. At this time it was his turn to appear. How could they watch the ninjas of Konoha village die in such a miserable way? At that time, not only can the Hyuga clan be dissatisfied with Hokage according to the original plot, but it can also be kind to the Hyuga clan. Although it is said that the other party cannot surrender, when the Uchiha clan and Konoha are at war, it is already a very good benefit not to stop them. Now, all I have to do is wait for the good show to be staged and participate in it myself. After Dodoi and Samui took a long walk around the Hyuga clan, they actually formed a map in their minds. In fact, it is already possible to plan the infiltration route and escape route well. But they still pretended to go to other Konoha areas. This is not only to confuse the ninjas of Konoha village, but also to prepare for future field visits to Konoha village. The two of them really didn't expect that the third Hokage would be so generous and let the two of them spy on information in Konoha village. Simply outrageous. There are even no ninjas from the other party monitoring him. Even the ninjas of Konoha village I met felt like they were met by chance. They are not specifically here to monitor them. This allowed them to wander around and even verify a route out of Konoha. At night, the two of them returned to the hotel. The infiltration route has been investigated on the spot, and the escape route from Konoha is very feasible. Dodoi said with excitement, "Samui, start the operation late at night tomorrow. You go to the north of Konoha first. After I kidnap Hinata, I will rush over to meet you. Then escape from Konoha together. If the plan succeeds, then the resolution to negotiate peace with Konoha will be ruined. After that, the battle or peace is no longer something they can control. It will be up to the fourth Raikage to make the decision. However, there is a high probability that Konoha can only swallow this breath." Their cloud-hidden village dared to fight, but judging from the performance of the Hokage, Konoha village was clearly unwilling to fight. Samyi naturally agreed to this plan. If the plan succeeds, there is really no need for a blonde beauty like her to stay in Konoha. I will wait for you at the agreed place, and then escape from Konoha village quickly and rush to the border. There will be someone there to pick us up. Even if Konoha village reacts, it will be too late. The next night, it was almost late at night. The streets of Konoha were so quiet that there were almost no pedestrians. Almost every household sleeps with dark lights. And Ryosuke had already arrived in the distance of the Hyuga tribe, waiting for the arrival of the envoy from Kumoin village. Counting the time now, the peace agreement will be signed tomorrow. Then the other party will definitely take action today, and the time to do it will definitely be late at night. It's a dark and windy night, so it's a good time to make a move. After the other party kidnapped Hinata and came out, if he rescued Hinata, he would be able to gain goodwill in front of the Hinata family. After all, Hinata is now the apparent heir to the Hyuga family, and her importance is self-evident. I have helped the Hyuga family so much, so it is impossible for the Hyuga family to go against the Uchiha clan in the future. At least they are the proudest clan besides the Uchiha clan. About 2 more hours passed, and it could be said that it was truly late at night. Apart from the chirping of insects, there was no sound from humans. Ryosuke looked in the direction of the Uchiha tribe a little bored. Could it be that he guessed wrong? Don't these people in Union Village plan to take action? When I was feeling irritable, I saw a black figure approaching the wall outside the Hyuga tribe at a very fast speed, and then turned over and went in. This scene made Ryosuke suddenly excited. The target appears. At the same time, Ryosuke was a little frightened by the opponent's speed. He was really fast, his steps were light, and his movements were smooth and fluid. If you don't pay careful attention, the other party's whereabouts are really difficult to discover. There is really a way to infiltrate. Now he was waiting for the other party to kidnap Hinata, and then he would immediately follow and rescue Hinata. And Dadoi, dressed in black, climbed over the wall and entered the Hyuga clan's territory. Dadoi tried his best to hide his aura and blend in with the environment. After hiding in a corner and observing the surroundings carefully, he found that no one was moving quickly towards Hinata's room. This action must not only be steady, but also fast. Who knows if someone among the guards of the Hinata family will turn on their white eyes every once in a while to observe the clan's situation. He quickly came outside Hinata's room and checked that the door was locked, so he could only enter through the window. Fortunately, the window was already slightly open at this time. Then he opened the window directly enough to accommodate himself in, and then quietly entered the room through the window. At this time, Hinata was still sleeping on her bed. Dodoi quietly came to the bedside and took out a handkerchief from his pocket. This handkerchief has long been covered with drug, just like Hinata's child, smelling a little is enough to make her faint immediately. He took the handkerchief and pressed it directly into Hinata's mouth. This wave of operations naturally woke Hinata up. His eyes were wide open and full of fear, but within 5 seconds, his eyes blurred and he fainted. Upon seeing this, Dadoi immediately picked up the unconscious Hinata and went to the window to observe the surrounding situation. When he found no one, he immediately carefully stepped out of the window and then came to the corner. He jumped up slightly, stretched out one hand and grasped the edge of the wall and fell out. The movements are smooth and flowing, and the speed is extremely fast. He hugged Hinata and landed gently. He looked around cautiously, but no one noticed him. The plan is already half successful. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, he quickly headed towards the place agreed with Sammy. Not long after, Duduoi's expression suddenly changed, and his body quickly dodged a fierce claw. It was obvious that he had been attacked by surprise, and he quickly distanced himself from the visitor. Fortunately, the other party did not pursue him, which gave him a chance to see the person clearly. With hedgehog-shaped hair, strong body muscles, and 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes, isn't this the Uchiha clan member I met before? Why is this guy here? At this time, Ryosuke couldn't help but sigh a little surprised. It's kind of interesting that he actually dodged his blow. Although he didn't attack with all his strength, he didn't have much energy left. After all, the opponent is also a Junin, and a speed-type Junin. But that's about it. Are you going to be obedient and let him go, or are you going to beat you down and then arrest you? Dodoi's face was gloomy. Unexpectedly, he was not discovered by the Hyuga clan, but was discovered by the Uchiha clan. What bad luck. How could he be captured without any help? Of course he should find a way to escape now. Then he pulled out 2 shurikens from his ninja bag and threw them directly towards Ryosuke's face. Ryosuke slapped the 2 shurikens that were shooting away quickly. But he saw that the leader of Union Village's envoy group had already taken steps to run out. Then he moved his legs and charged towards the opponent with all his strength. It didn't take long for him to catch up with the opponent, and a dragon claw directly grabbed the opponent's back. When he was about to be caught, the leader of Union Village's envoy group suddenly disappeared. The figure appeared in front. At this time, the ninja of Union Village looked very anxious. If he hadn't used the teleportation technique, he might have been caught by the opponent just now. He is good at speed, and now the opponent's speed is not inferior to him. If they were to fight head-on, he would definitely not be his opponent. And Ryosuke was a little annoyed at the moment. Against a little shrimp, he actually escaped twice. Directly refining chakra instantly opened 4 doors. The veins on his head popped out, his skin turned dark, and his strong aura soared into the sky. Dodui, who was running away, felt the strong momentum behind him and couldn't help but look back. I felt bad. You can tell by the strong aura exuding from the other party. He had only seen this kind of powerful aura from the 4th Raikage. Ryosuke took immediate steps and caught up with the leader of Kumogakur village within a few seconds. However, the leader of Union Village sensed something was wrong and used the teleportation technique again. I teleported to a new location, but this time I felt the crisis again. Just as he was about to use the teleportation technique again, a big hand grabbed his right hand forcefully. His muscles were about to be grabbed, and he instantly felt immense pain. The one who caught him was none other than Ryosuke Uchiha. At the same time, Ryosuke stretched out one hand and grabbed the opponent's left hand, holding it tightly so that the opponent had to let go of Hinata's hands. At this time, Ryosuke took the opportunity to catch Hinata, and then kicked the opponent away with a powerful and heavy side kick. He fell hard to the ground, leaving a long scratch. Ryosuke looked at Hinata at this time. She seemed to be in good condition. She was probably just unconscious for a short time. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.